She had a voice like thunder, a heart so wide, a love so fierce it could never hide, a look that told you what was right and wrong. Now the world feels quiet since she's gone. She was the rock that held us in the storm, the arms that kept us safe and warm. A mom to you and a mom to me. Her light lives on in all we see. Her laughter echoed through the halls so loud, a queen who stood tall and never bowed. Her rules were tough, but her heart was kind, a better soul you'll never find. She was the rock that held us in the storm, the arms that kept us safe and warm. A mom to you and a mom to me. Her light lives on in all we see. We'll carry on like you'd want us to, with courage strong and love so true. You built us up, you made us see what it means to be family. Though she's not here, her love remains in our laughter and our growing pains, a legacy of grace and might. Her spirit dances in the night. Though she's not here, her love remains in our laughter and our growing pains, a legacy of grace and might. Her spirit dances in the night. She was the rock that held us in the storm, the arms that kept us safe and warm. A mom to you and a mom to me. Her light lives on in all we see.
Hope is fading, we always rise. Hope seems lost, it's no surprise. This life we live tries to hold us down. We rise above the best around. Crash and burn, yeah, life's a game. Throwing curveballs, it's all the same. Patch it up and keep it moving. I ain't winning, but I'm not losing. When you feel left out, like nobody's listening, you wanna scream and shout. Your life is slowly shifting. Embrace the change, embrace the pain. Every loss, something to gain. Feeling lost, but still we fight. Chasing dreams in the dead of night. Though the path is lined with fears, keep pushing, wipe away the tears. Crash and burn, yeah, life's a game. Throwing curveballs, it's all the same. Patch it up and keep it moving. I ain't winning, but I'm not losing. You've got a voice, let it be heard. Scream into the silence, speak every word. Rise from the ashes, break from the herd. Haters will always be absurd. Stand strong and proud, let your spirit soar. Never give up, stay strong to the core. Believe in yourself, stand tall and true. The strength within will see you through. Doubt may linger, but don't let it stay. Trust in your journey, find your own way. With every step, never hide. Let your light shine large and wide. Hold on to faith, let it be your guide. The power within you cannot be denied. Nobody cares about those who lied. The wasted nights that you cried, that was the old you that died. The new you, bona fide. Crash and burn, yeah, life's a game. Throwing curveballs, it's all the same. Patch it up and keep it moving. I ain't winning, but I'm not losing.
Aloha, everyone, and welcome. To answer Blue Butterfly, that's why I had to play a second song. I had to buy some time to what I don't know. Something was wrong with my eyes and shit. You know, happens. But I'm a plumber, so I fixed it. It's all good now. But no, on a serious note, lots of love going out for Dave and his family. All right, I'm gonna stop there. My camera's not on good. I'm gonna stop there. But anywho, I wasn't expecting Dave to be here. I kind of talked to him yesterday, and I'm letting him do his grieving thing, and I'm not trying to bother him, or so I'm not wasn't expecting him to be here, but I just wanted to do that for my second mom, who has been there for me since I was 9 years old. So I couldn't get away, man. If my mom wasn't smacking the back of my head, Dave's mom was smacking the back of my head. I couldn't get away. So love you, mom. But so what I wanted to do today is probably not gonna be long, maybe an hour. I don't know. We'll see. But I did want to cover a video um that I seen, was it yesterday or the day before? But um channel name and his name is James Freeman. Great, great fucking channel. And this guy is like unbelievably good, just really good. But MK Gaming 200. Well, aloha. First time I've ever seen you in here. So, with that being said, no, I'm not gonna drop a link. But hey, James, what's up, brother? James. Oh, and Dave's here. What, Dave? What? Dave. Dave. What are you doing here, dude? I wasn't expecting you to be here, dude.
What's up, man? Just popped in. Say hello. Say what's up. Much love. Just doing some stuff around here, so I threw on the headset.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you're here, but I wasn't expecting it because, I mean, I don't know. I want to let you do your thing, and that's why what I texted you yesterday. That's
Yeah, it's all good, man. I know where she is, brother.
Yep, yep.
I just got home from trying to grab my suit. I tried on my slacks and stuff, and they don't fit because I gained like 15 pounds or whatever. So,
Dude, just call it a dad bod, and then it sounds good.
well, yeah, dad bod, whatever. But so I was at the store with my daughter trying to grab a new suit, and they had them on sale for a couple $100, but couldn't find nothing my size. But anyway, I got home, and in the corner where the bed was, my son built me I guess today he built me a planter box, and it's like 2 feet high and a foot and a half wide, and it has it's called a peace lily, and it's like a 3 foot plant with these big white flowers on top, and then he put a cardinal in it because that was like the thing with me, mom, and my grandma, and Jimmy. But anyway, he built me this huge, beautiful planter box, beautiful flowers and the cardinals. And when I came home, where she was, that's sitting there now. So what a nice thing to do, right?
Yeah, that's super cool, man.
Super awesome of them. Shout out Josh and Kaylin. Love you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely got some good kids, man.
Jimmy's been working hard today, going through some some photographs. A lot of things, a lot of things when someone passes, you don't really realize that you have to do, man. Like, you gotta, for one thing, you have to get them clothes. You have to pick an outfit, for them to wear, and get like flowers and make the cards and just do all kind of stuff, man. Sign your life away.
There is definitely a shit ton involved, more than most would think, because most people just they know about it, and then they show up for the funeral, and then but so much shit goes into it.
Yeah, but it's been kind of a team effort. So we got, my aunt's helping us, and James been working on the pictures, like I said. So it's been weird. We made a bunch of boards. I think we got a couple hundred pictures just about for her viewing on Saturday. So, but anyway,
And it's so you already have it. It's for Saturday already.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow, damn! You guys are in like fifth gear.
Yeah, but the only reason I did it for Saturday was because how the funeral home has multiple people and stuff. Well, they have somebody there from 1 to 4, and after 4 it's empty. So if we took that slot, then we got the place to ourselves, and we can bring food, and everyone can relax out in the lobby and stuff. And it's like
Right.
all family and friends only.
So you don't have to say the name, but I just want to. I'm just curious. Is it the one at Middle Belt?
No.
Okay.
It's in Dearborn.
Oh, okay.
Ford. Yeah.
Oh,
up,
okay. I know. Okay, I know. I know.
But we had a lot of time to prepare for it. We saw it coming. I'm pretty sure everybody kind of knew. So we warned everybody, let them have opportunity to come and talk. And I feel like I said everything I needed to say, man. I felt like there's nothing left that I didn't say. And I probably drove her nuts, telling her I love her 50 million times, For some reason, man, I had it in my mind that, like, if I didn't tell her every hour or something, that she wouldn't believe that I didn't love her, or something stupid. So weird, man, how I was thinking weird. It's like, yeah, all the other years that I loved her didn't matter. It was just like this last 2 hours. If I wasn't really good to her or something, like, she won't think I loved her. So, God, what kind of thinking was I don't think I was thinking right, man.
Yeah, but I mean, still though, I do. Before I hang, I'm even with you. Before I hang up the phone with my dad, with Nina, my mom, you, I always say I love you, because I mean, I don't know. It's like that thing in the back of my head. I never know. You never know if you're gonna. I don't know if I mean, I might die in 2 minutes after we hang up. So I just want to make sure the last thing I tell people is that I love them.
Thank you, Creek, man. Love you, brother. Hope your head's healing up all right. And quit getting in fight with the bar stool, man. That's crazy. At least come up with a better story, my friend.
Yeah, it's funny. I was watching a comedian the other day, and he's talking like scars, and he's like, "Yeah, they say scars are cool, but it's like, nah, scars are only cool if a good story goes with it."
Right.
A good story to go. Like, there was walking down the street one day, and this crazy dude was like just unaliving babies. And then I was like, oh, and I jumped in, and then he stabbed me in the forehead, but I saved that baby's life, so I'm a hero.
Right. I ran in front of a bus to save a child. Got hit in the head by the bumper. No, it's been me and Jim been like super anxious and chest hurting kind of this week, and I think it's just normal. I think the weird part is I almost think we felt some of my mom's pain. It was so weird. Like, my hands were hurting, and she kept sitting in bed and rubbing her hands like she had arthritis was really getting real bad or something. So I'd give her meds for it, and whatever. But then I'd be in the other room, man, and then my wrists were aching, and I'm just like, what the hell? Am I catching arthritis? Or am I? Is it sympathy pain or what? What is this? Or am I just nuts?
Right. Yeah, that's
Yeah, but it's
so
stupid.
now it's almost kind of like not like not like mom was a weight, but it's almost like you had a weight lifted off your shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Like you feel relieved, not because she's gone, because dude, I don't remember how many times I've cried in the past 24 hours, but you know what I'm saying? Like you know she's in a better place now. You know she's not suffering. You know she's not in pain. And you know what I'm saying? Am I making sense? Probably not. I talk in circles.
You are. It's nothing easy about this process, man. So it's and you know what's crazy is, man, I'd be walking around feeling sorry for myself or whatever, and then everywhere I went, man, on YouTube and in the stores and everywhere, it would come up and people said, "Yeah, I just lost my father-in-law. Yeah, I just lost my brother." And then somebody yesterday said that I'm trying to remember who it was, but they had lost all their siblings between 19 and 21, 2019 and 2021. They had lost three or four brothers and sisters in the 2 years, and then their mom and dad that following year.
Dang.
Like, holy crap, and it's like, I guess we just talk about it more, than most people, but a lot of people are struggling, man, and suffering out there, and they don't talk about it. But it was amazing to me that I was in a channel the other day with like 200 people. It was a live channel, and there was 200 people in there, and everyone's saying sorry, and there was like at least 15 out of the 200 that said that they were going through that or had just been through it. And I'm like, okay, so it's just part of life, like my brother's telling me, because I was having a really hard time with it. And
Yeah.
I,
Well,
I was mad at God for a minute. I was like, why don't he just take her in her sleep? Like, why does she have to suffer at all? You know what I mean? Like, can't he just? Well, I asked him specifically, through praying. I was like, God, why can't you just take her in her sleep, man? I mean, why does she have to feel this? She's already felt it long enough, well, in my opinion.
right.
So my cousin called me, and I was in front of the Potbelly. We were getting some soup. And by the way, if you ever get a chance to eat some chicken pot pie soup from Potbelly, the restaurant Potbelly, do it. It's amazing. Anyway, we were eating for comfort. That's what we got. But in the parking lot, my cousin called, and we were talking, and he told me that he was real proud of me and stuff. And then we prayed. We prayed. Actually, this sounds mean, but we prayed that God would take my mom that night in her sleep, because she was just suffering. You know what I mean? Taking meds and stuff, but she was suffering. She wasn't in like pain, but she couldn't move and stuff.
Right. That's well, and she wasn't in pain because of the meds too, you know. It's like if there was no meds,
But at
she,
that point, there's just nothing. Even if she had gotten better, even if I had given her 5 medicines and she got better, she would have still had three other things wrong that she would have had to battle through to live. And it's just like, at some point, you just got to go, okay, man. And like my brother came to that conclusion way before I did, because he's seen it before and I hadn't. And I was just like, I felt like I was failing her. Like, I'm not fixing mom, I'm failing. Where am I failing? Maybe if I'd given her more water, or maybe if I had done this or medicine or more vegetables or what. You think you have some sort of control, and it's bull crap. You have no control, man.
you don't. Yeah, but I understand where you're coming from though, because that's like yeah, a lot of people do that. You put the guilt on yourself when in reality there's nothing you could have done different to make a difference.
Yeah, I remember one night I got a little frustrated, and I never ever get frustrated with my mom because I'm pretty. Most time I'm nice, I think. She had asked me something like 5 times in a row, and I had done it and done it and done it, and I was like, "Mom, I can't do it every 5 seconds. I got to do this." And then she got really quiet, and I thought she got mad at me, and then I'm like sitting over there going, "I love you, Mom. I love you," and I'm like, "Do you love me? Do you still love me?" And I'm like talking to her like a psychopath, man. Now I look back at it and I go, "What was wrong with me, dude? Like, of course she loves me. She took care of me my whole life. Of course, that one moment did not mean that all of the love she gave me was canceled, but for some reason I was thinking like a whack job."
No, I don't think you're thinking like a whack job. I think you're thinking like a normal person. Think either that or we're both whack jobs because I've had similar thoughts in other situations and I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, all I kept thinking is if she goes and she's mad at me when she goes, and I'm just like, oh my God, I can't deal with that. I'll always think that she was mad at me when she goes, and it's just bizarre, man. You have to go through it to feel it. If you haven't been through it, then you don't know what it is. But yeah, I felt really guilty and I did. It wasn't nothing big. It was just like, I had to take care of the same issue for like 5 times in a row for like in an hour. And I was so tired. It was like 3 in the morning, It's just like, come on. Please, God, let me sleep 1 minute, 5 minutes. But yeah, so anyway, I realize now that I think I was being insane. Brother
In the
told me,
membrane.
yeah. Yeah, because at the end of the day, man, you can't be perfect. You're just a human being, man. We get tired. We get frustrated. It's normal. Those are normal emotions.
Yep. Uh, Did you by chance see the beginning when I first started the stream?
No, but I heard you right when I came on. I heard you say "love you, mom."
Right. But no, I made a song for her and played that, and then I made this and played this. I'll play this real quick. It's only like 18 seconds, but
She was the rock that held us in the storm, the arms that kept us safe and warm. A mom to you and a mom to me. Her light lives on in all we see.
so I
Thank,
did that this morning, and I was gonna send it to you. It's a
thank you,
short, but
brother.
I was gonna send it to you if you want to use it or post it on your channel or whatever.
Thank you, my brother, man. I appreciate that, dude. I love you more than you know.
Vice versa, and ditto. You know I love you too, man, more than you know.
And my brother James as well. I love you, man. Thank you for saying that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm in the fields lately. So, switching subjects, I went to the store today to buy some special soap so I'd smell really good. I was trying to buy a suit, but they have these new body washes from Dunkin' Donuts. You ever heard of these things? They
From
have,
Duncan.
yeah, it's called Native Soap or body wash, and they have Dunkin' Donut flavored, not taste, but smells like donuts. Every kind of donut they have.
That's crazy. I don't know if I'd want that.
It's crazy. So like I bought Boston cream. It smells delicious. It smells like a Boston cream donut. So I was like, I called my wife and I'm like, yeah, I found this native Boston cream donut body wash. And I'm like, I don't know if I should buy it because you might try to bite me after a shower or something. And she was laughing. But yeah, so they have Dunkin' Donut brand body wash now. in every kind of flavored donut. It's funny, dude.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
That is insane. But no, at first you scared me because you were like, you went to get a special soap, and I was like, dude, you got crabs, man. What kind
No,
of soap?
I
What
was
kind of
there
soap?
for I was there for a shirt, man. I just found myself down that aisle, and I'm the weird guy that smells all the soap before I buy it because I want the perfect soap. You know what I mean?
I do too, because I use the body wash, and same thing. It's
Yeah, you want to smell good, right? I mean,
well
anyway,
because I can't wear cologne either. I mean, I can, but it burns my nose. So basically, I can't. So, but
see,
body wash, it's got it's kind of like cologne without wearing cologne.
look at that. Rome wants to smell like a donut. I'm telling you, bro. If you smell this Boston cream, it is amazing.
Hey, if you're a teenager, stay away from your grandma because then they'll be like, I'm just gonna eat you up.
Right. Oh, oh, snap. Jimmy's like, I found a bunch of the photos of you and Dave, which I will show the world. I'm scared. I
I'm
had,
not.
dude, I had found one picture of me. I'm walking out, man. My shirt's unbuttoned and open. I got little pecs and stuff. Probably when I was like 16 or no, 17 ish. And I don't remember it at all, but I was like pretty, little bit jacked. And I was like, I don't remember ever being jacked. You know what I mean?
Right?
I
No,
was like,
yeah.
take me back, please.
Dude, I can't wait to see him, James. I I got nothing to hide. You can show the whole world any
Oh,
picture of me.
here's the story of the night. You ready for this one? So my mom, I got a few pictures, packs of pictures from my mom's house, and because I was hoping to get some of me and Jimmy for the board, because we're having like a running. Basically, it's like a whole collage. It plays on the big screens. And anyway, so my wife's helping me open up all these pictures. So she grabs one envelope, pulls it out, and just the look on her face, it was like horrifying. And I'm like, what? She goes, you're not getting this. And I go, what? And she goes, you're not even going to touch this. And then, of course, then I'm like, what? Now I want to see it. What is it? So we had a mutual friend back in the day whose sister had taken glamour shots in lingerie, glamour shots,
Oh,
and
okay.
she had given me a picture when I was like 15 or something, and I had put it under my bed. Well, apparently my mother must have found it, and I'm talking like underwear bra, like straight up. And my mom must have found it and put it in for whatever reason. She didn't throw it away. She put it in a pack of the pictures.
In her stash.
So my wife is now holding a picture of this chick in her underwear and bra. And I'm like, I didn't save it. Where's my mind? Like, I didn't know what happened to that picture. So I'm like, you can just rip that up right now and throw that in the trash. And then, like, she did that. And then as she went through the pack, it was different Christmases. And every Christmas I had I had Vicky, Jenny, another girl. So 3 Christmases in a row with different girls. And it's like, I did not save them, dude. That was my mom. So and then my wife got up, put the pictures down, and went to bed, and did not help me finish the picture.
You're always probably like,
She's like,
I
I'm
thought you
tired.
said you didn't think about any of them anymore, but why do you still have these?
Right. So she's tired. She goes, I'm tired, and then she went to bed. She went upstairs and went to bed. I didn't know if she was mad at me or what, but today she woke up and she wasn't mad at me. But I'm like, man, I didn't know my mom kept them.
Right.
And even
Yeah, I
my
mean, especially at that age, it's one of those things where it's like there, and then you remember then we had so much shit going on. It's not like that was your prized possession. So then all of a sudden it's gone, and you're just like, ah, who cares?
right,
And then
just
here's
another no.
freaking 35 years, 40 years later. It's like, oh shit.
I can't remember whose sister it was, man, but you knew him. Anyway, yeah, it's in the garbage, and then she didn't rip it up. She actually just threw it out. And then so today I was talking to my daughter, and I told her what happened, and she goes, "I was wondering why there was a picture in the trash of a girl in her underwear and bra." And I'm like, "Oh my
Half
god,
naked
you
chick.
saw it too?" Yeah, so
Dude, I want to see it just because of the time frame. Like, because
no, you don't. Yeah,
but
I'm not doing it.
pictures now, like, the quality, and like, you look at a picture from then, it's from the 90s, right? So I
All
didn't
I
want to
can
look at it to see the quality of it. Like, wow, what a difference.
I'm going on record to say it looked horrifying. It was not good. That my wife looks 10 times better than what that looked like. So, babe, you're a hot mama. That chick ain't got nothing on you. That's why she's in the garbage. Anyway, I don't know why my mom saved it. It's so bizarre. If she was still here, I would definitely ask her why she put
Right?
why she,
Like, why would you hold on to this?
all my stuff that went missing as a kid that I thought I lost. She had it. She had it like knives,
Yeah,
different things.
I was gonna guess because she was up there looking for shit you shouldn't have had that she found
Yeah,
half the time.
she knew my spot was under the bed, and just she would leave some stuff and just take the like knives. And I would think, man, what did I do with my damn knife?
Right?
Where did I must have left it in
See?
my jacket or lost it. She was so smart, and she would never bring it up to me, man.
Psychological, man. Psychological tricks.
Yeah. So, and of course, she knew that I wasn't gonna say, "Mom, did you see my knife, or did you see the girl in the underwear?"
Right. Hey, mom, you see that picture of a half naked chick?
Right. So
Yeah, she
she's
is.
so
She
smart,
was
man.
smart, man. Very smart. That's funny as hell, though.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell her, James. It's just merely stones on the path to you, honey. I said I had to break some eggs, to get to the good one.
Right?
Anyway, anyways, I don't know. It was weird. I'm not gonna lie though, it was weird seeing them.
No, it would be. Well, dude, those pictures I showed a couple months ago that my dad brought of you and me, that I don't remember where I put them now, but you remember what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
It was weird seeing those because it's been like any picture you see from back then, especially when, we're like basically 50-ish. And then
who's
you're looking
50?
at pictures of
Oh,
yourself
bro,
when you're 17. It's like, dude, it's over 30 years ago. Holy shit.
dude. When you say 50ish, I in my mind I'm denying what you're saying, but it's actually freaking true.
I'm going by like the age thing they do, like on the analytics. I was like age group 40 to 60.
Yeah,
So we're in like, in the 40 to 60 age group. And then you look at pictures of yourself when you're a teenager, it's like, holy shit.
back when I had really good hair and really the dark goatee, and I was like, yeah, I'm a lady killer. But yeah, no, I never was. I don't think. But I thought I was.
Fortune Thought says, what's up, Fortune Thought, by the way? It says, when my great grandpa passed, my uncle was going through a box of stuff in the garage, and we heard him yell, "Son of a bitch," because he found the 22 revolver my grandpa confiscated from him. No shit. So,
Well, there was a certain 25. I don't talk about it. There was a certain 25.
that also went missing.
Yep. Yeah, I'm sorry for everyone out there that also lost a parent, man, or sibling. I know you guys probably brings back memories. And sorry for those of you that didn't get to talk to your mom. And I read some people were saying they didn't get to talk to their mom, and at least I got to talk to mine. So Shout out to all you guys too, man. Yep. So now I know what it's like. So at least I can have compassion for the next man. You know, it's like, God, how close are we? I kept thinking that last week is how close are we to death?
Dude, I think about that. I've been thinking about that for the past 2 years, all the time.
Thank you, Butterfly. It's like, have we lived really over 75% of our life, really? You think?
Even for me, even more because it's not like I take care of myself. You know what I mean? It's not like I eat healthy or, drink lots of water. And it's not like I smoke cigarettes all the time and push my body to the limit. You know what I mean? So if like the average life expectancy is, let's say, 80, then yeah, I'm way past 75%, which is scary to think about, right?
It is. Yeah. So another thing, found a picture today of me and my brother, like covered in Christmas wrapping paper, and we both had a bow on top of our head. And Jimmy's giving like a bicep curl. I think he was pointing to the bicep curl. But yeah, it was just awesome pictures like that that made me remember a lot of good times with Jim and my mom, and you know, got to see like my dad really had more years with my brother than I did. But like I got to see they went camping and fishing and stuff. I really don't remember any of that with my dad. I do
Right.
remember that John, who was dating my mom at one time, I do remember him sneaking me into the drive-in movie theater to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't remember how old I was. I was probably 13 or 14. And then him and my brother were watching it, and then I got out. Of course, I snuck in so we didn't have to pay for me, but then I got in the car. And every time I tried to look up and watch, they're like, put your head down, you can't watch.
Uh,
So I don't remember much of the movie, but I
Yeah,
can
'cause I
still
was about to
remember.
say, you said you don't remember how old you were. I was about to say probably young enough to give you nightmares, but not if they weren't letting you watch it.
I watched some of it anyway, but I'm just saying, like, those are cool memories, man. I love pictures because there's some things in there that I had completely, I didn't remember I even did, and I forgot.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
No,
see. That's like when I went to Stacy's, what I call it, gathering of life, because I hate the other word, but yeah, my dad and Chris, his better half, they put together a bunch of stuff and pictures that I haven't seen in 20, 30, 40 years. I mean, even longer, back to when I don't remember being alive, like 1, 2 years old. Yeah. And that, yeah, I know what you're saying. It's definitely good nostalgia, memories.
yeah, when I actually like, I didn't know if my brother liked me or not, but I looked at a few pictures and it reminded me. So just kidding, man. But it is cool to see the camaraderie we had because I don't remember a bunch of that stuff, unfortunately. And then a lot of things you think of people in a certain way. Then you see all those old pictures and you go, oh, that's why they were like this, or that's what happened to them. Just, like even my uncle, my uncle was always kind of a sad dude, always kind of just sad all the
Uncle,
time.
what was his name again? Uncle.
I don't want to say, but
Okay.
it just, he
I
was sad
think,
all the time. I found out today he was in the army and that he had some problems with his feet, man, and they booted him out of the army over it.
oh, no kidding.
So he probably felt like a failure, you know what I mean? Even though he wasn't, it's not his fault, but he probably felt like he was.
I think I'm thinking of the same uncle. I just, well, it's the only person I think of when you say uncle. So,
Ask Steve, what's the name of the drive-in? The drive-in movie theater, remember?
Which one? The one in Detroit or Dearborn Heights?
Well, Jim just put Ford something.
Oh yeah, Ford Theater. For that was Dearborn Heights Drive-In. I think that's what it was, Dearborn Heights. Or there's the other one that was Ford, Wyoming. That's the one. That's the Detroit one. That's what he's thinking of. Ford, Wyoming.
Looking for it. This dude cracks me up. It's like when I think of my brother being fat, and then I see photos of him next to the finger foods on holidays, and I'm like, oh, that's how he got fat. Bro, we just dropped to 9 people in 5 seconds. What happened?
I think Creek just went on because I started late today too. I started like almost an hour later than normal. So
we're talking about such a fun topic too. So, but it's real, man. Yeah, it's real. That's where Welliver School was, right there. You had Welliver School.
Yeah, I remember Welliver. Yep.
Mr. Boatwright, he used to paddle us. Remember? I don't know if you got paddled, but I got paddled.
I don't remember that name, Mr. Boatwright.
Mr. Boatwright, 2nd grade.
I just remember when that school went down, when it became abandoned or whatever.
Yeah.
Before they turned it into a strip mall or whatever. That you remember Danny D?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we went in there, dude. It was cool. Because imagine, too, we're like little kids still, right? And it's like, it was almost like ghost hunting, you know? You're just in this abandoned building that's all like flipped upside down, and we're just going through all this stuff, and like, we get in trouble. Ooh. But that's the only thing I remember about that school is after the fact.
That's funny, man. Rome. Dad's probably trying to convince Dave and James' mom to try the food in that great big Denny's in the sky. You wouldn't have to convince her very long. We actually ate at the restaurant yesterday that we used to take her to. We hadn't been there since really we were there together. That was kind of strange and cool at the same time. But one thing about our mom is she would, no matter what she ordered, if it wasn't right and it wasn't warm and it wasn't fresh, she was always going to send it back no matter what. And we were, sometimes even to the point of embarrassment. It's like, yeah, my soup isn't hot and there's not enough meat in it. Just sometimes she would just do that stuff. Jimmy would just hold his hand over his head. And I was just like, whatever. Come on, she's getting old. Just let her have whatever she wants. If she wants more meat, give her more meat. I don't care. But yeah, no matter where we went, she almost always sent the food back. So we tried to get used to it. But she demanded excellence. That's all I can say is like, whether she was at a Denny's or a steakhouse, she had to have excellence. If she was going to give you money, she wanted what she wanted. That's how I look at it.
Which is fair, yeah, because it's like, hey, if I'm going to pay you for anything, I want what I'm paying for, right? I mean,
right. Well, and sometimes she would sit there for like 10 minutes and talk and then say her soup was cold. Can I get another soup? It's cold. It's like, Mom, you just talked for 10 minutes. It's cold because you talked, for 10 minutes. But anyway, such is life. Oh, springtime here.
Yeah, what is oh yeah. Yeah, almost April. Just a couple of days. Oh shit, almost April. Don't remind me. I don't like April.
No?
Not just because it's my birthday, because I don't mind that.
Well, you got to pay all your tabs and crap.
But yeah, I just got that one in the mail 2 days ago. And then I do all my annual shit, and I didn't plan it that way. It just ended up that way. But everything I pay annually is all in April, and it's like, really should have thought of that before I set up all my annual payments. My first high school was abandoned. It didn't even close. We were just assholes for students. Eventually, they get kids who showed up. But yeah, so I got like a week and a half or 2 weeks to come up with a butt ton of money to pay all this shit, and it's like, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things. Like, what am I gonna do? Sit there and stress about it, or just one
Do
of
you
those things? Like,
remember?
I can't change it. So, and then so far things have been working out. Like, there was no work coming in. All of a sudden, it's like boom, boom, boom.
Thanks, Nut. Appreciate you, man. Steve, you remember a real life nursery school? It was next to the drive-in. It was on the, if you're looking at it, it was on the right side. It had a tank and a fire engine and a plane that you could play on and even in.
It sounds familiar, but I don't really remember it.
Yeah, I went to that school, and I remember I got to play in that stuff. Yeah, like World War II airplane you could play in. We defeated the Germans a lot of times. Yep. You don't remember that, really?
Nah, I kind of do, but it not like I'm not getting a visual. Like, yeah, I don't really remember it.
Demanding excellence from a Denny's is kind of like demanding silence in a Detroit movie theater. You know that. You know what? I'll just stop that joke there.
That's a good joke, though. That's a good joke, though.
What's up, Battlefield? Good to see you, man. Yeah, I'm not here.
Buff. I mean, Mayhem. Sorry, I said Buff. My bad, Mayhem.
What? I love April. I got my soma plants growing quite nicely already. It's going to be a bumper crop. So deplorable, you're going to be passed out most of the month if you're on somas, right? That's scary, dude. I'm gonna choose not to believe that you're doing that. Oh. Whose Battlefield is that?
That's Mayhem.
That's Mayhem. Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Mayhem. Change your name, bro. And by the way, Yankees for life. You suck for not being here again. I gotta give him crap every week. I know he's gonna let me have it when he gets back on, but
oh, that's why it's so much fun.
I know. I love that guy. Plus, baseball season's starting, so
yeah, that's what John Mosman was here a little bit ago and mentioned something about the Tigers.
Yeah, hopefully they don't suck. I think they got to the playoffs last year.
A few times in the last decade anyway, I would say. I think a few times in the last decade because I live in here, and the only time I hear about stuff like that is when they do make it to the playoffs.
Yeah. Anyway, who else in here can say that they played on a tank and in an actual World War II plane in their nursery school?
Right.
That was so cool.
You know what else though? I think it is about that why I don't really, because I didn't move there until I was like 7.
Okay.
So I might have been there after that fact. But I still remember it for some reason, but not as remember it as going there, but I remember seeing it and driving by it. But
I really missed playing softball, man.
Dude, I used to have a blast anyway when we used to play softball.
Steve, dude, remember the story about my stupid socks? Remember we played your hardball
Yeah,
team.
that's how we met. Yeah.
So I found the picture of my freaking team, the Blue
Oh,
Jays. I was on
no
the Blue Jays.
shit.
Yeah, so I'm sitting there in the back. You can't see the socks are black, but yeah, like I'm sitting there with my team. And I don't know if you remember this story, but my mom bought me a mitt that was too big. So it was like an adult mitt, and I was like, I forget, what were we, 10?
I think we were 9, or I was 9 anyway. So
Yeah,
yeah,
something
you
like
were
that.
probably. Yeah.
Well, the coach, I was in outfield, I was playing like left field, and he was hitting me pop-ups, and I caught him. But one of the pop-ups was I lost it in the sun, and I put my mitt up in front of my face, but just not enough, and the ball came over the tip of my glove and hit the glove, and then hit me right in the forehead. And I literally saw stars, and I think I went out for a minute, and then when I opened my eyes, like half the team was around me, going, "You all right, man? Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, man, a softball just hit me in the forehead." But yeah, the coach is like, "All right, we got to go get some ice." So they pulled me out of the game, man. But all because my glove was so big, I couldn't see the ball. It's like, oh, this is the best memory ever, though. Who can say that? You know?
Right. Dude, I had some and the first thing that popped in my head was this because I remember too. I was like, I don't know, like 12, 13 or whatever. But that's when I played for like the travel league, the house team, and all that shit. And my coach, and I was a pitcher and a first baseman, right?
Yeah.
And my coach was like, "Oh, you'd be a great catcher," and I'm like, "I don't want to be a catcher," but he kept like pushing me to do it, and I'm like, "I don't want to be like that's one boring." And two, it's hard to see with that freaking catcher's mask, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, well, you at least got to try it. Da, da, da. So I'm like, fine. So I get in the catcher's gear and I'm doing, and then I'm not even thinking about a person up to bat yet. So I'm like practicing catching, da, da, da. And then the person gets up to bat. And now I'm like, dude, this really sucks. Like, I didn't want to do this to begin with. Now I really don't. But so, like, I'm looking and then the dude will go swing and that throws me off. And then anyway, long story short, the coach is throwing too. Like he's an adult, right? We're his kids, and he's throwing a little bit faster than any other kid on the team would throw because I guess that's how he was coaching us. Like so, then when someone else throws, it's not that hard and it's easier to catch. But miss my glove, same thing like with your forehead. Miss my glove just by the freaking right here, bounced off right into my throat, and it was just I was like.
Ooh, dang.
Ugh! And I just dropped and I couldn't breathe. I was just like, and then
Oh
the
my
coach just
God.
is like, oh, and he gets me up and he's all pat, like doing the smack on the ass, like, shake it off, buddy, shake it off. And he's like, all right, man, you can take a rest, just go home.
Wait, whoa, wait. He
And I
smacked
had to
you on
walk.
your butt?
Do you remember back then? Everyone did on the sports. It's like, hey, good job, team. Smack him on the fucking thigh.
Oh, that's
But
smack.
and I was friends. Well, you know who the coach is if I said the name, but I was friends with
Oh,
his son too, and
okay.
but and then he just like says, "Okay, man, you just go home." And I lived a block away because we were practicing over by the high school, and then where I lived, so it was like that one long block. And he just like go home. So I'm walking home, still rubbing my throat, going, like, what the hell just happened, dude? I go home. My
What
dad's
a
like, "What's
stupid
wrong?"
coach. Like, why are you going to throw 100-mile-an-hour balls at a kid?
Right.
It's like,
Yes.
what did he hate you?
Especially, I didn't even want to. I didn't want. I even told him like, dude, I don't want to be a catcher. He's like, no, yeah, you should. You should at least try it. I think you'd be good. I'm like, I don't want to. I like pitching and I like first base. That's what I like. Like, oh, try it. And he like forced me into it, and then that happened. And it's like, hey, screw you, Mister Jerk.
Toward the end of my softball playing, I hit about 9 to 12 home runs a year on softball, but there'd be some, because we had these D Marini bats, they're double wall, and they're legal in the league, but they're like, it's like a springboard basically when you hit the ball. If you hit it just right in the sweet spot, You can bang it at like 100 feet over the fence if you hit it right. But I remember one time my pitcher we were just playing. His name was Larry, and he's just, underhanding me some balls. I'm just getting warmed up and cranking them. Well, I hit one really hard, and man, that ball flew right at him and hit him right in his right knee, like hard as I could swing. Hit him in his knee, man. He went down and he was out for like the season because his knee was just blew out. And then so they made me the pitcher, and then I kept getting balls hit at my head at 1,000 miles an hour because those bats are just not safe, dude. You literally cannot put your mitt in front of your face fast enough. The ball comes off the bat so fast that you almost can't get your hand in front of it before it hits you. And I'm like, God, why are they allowing? You remember the Mikan bats and the DeMarinis and the juiced bats? When they first came out, they were all double wall instead of a single wall bat. They had an inner layer and an outer layer, which caused like a trampoline effect when you would hit the ball. And they were
Yeah, I
legal.
remember a bunch of. I just don't remember the names. But yeah, I remember a bunch of those bats that.
I remember because when I bought the bat, it was $280. And I thought, wow, what the hell? Why is it so much money? And then I hit a ball with it, and I'm like, wow. Yeah, so like, and then after a while, the league changed the rules that if you hit the ball over the fence, that it was an out. It was no longer a home run. They were outs.
What?
Yeah, the league changed it. So if you hit a home run, it was an out.
So forget the mercy rule then, huh?
Yeah, you had to try to hit them infield deep or, cut it to right field down the line or something to try to get a homer.
Well, you remember when you and me played softball?
Yeah.
There was I was never my entire life. I was never a big hitter. I was more of a fielder. Like first base pitcher. Not softball pitching though. I couldn't do softball pitching.
Butt slapping is 20% of baseball. Oh Lord.
But yeah, I think I hit. Oh no, wait! I know I hit 0 home runs in my entire life in baseball, and I was really into baseball. I was never a big hitter. It's like I hit a triple. I hit a few triples, but that was just luck. But basically, I was the 9th batter. And when I was pitching, I didn't bat at all. So
that's all right. I mean,
but I didn't care though. I loved playing first base or pitching. But if it was softball, I just wanted to be playing first base.
At one point, I remember like for softball, not hardball, I couldn't do it. But for softball, the ball came so slow that I'd be in one stance and I would shift my right leg back and my front leg forward and change position and then hit it right down the right field line anytime I wanted.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was just getting triple, double. And I just loved it. But when you threw a baseball, I could barely hit I ticked every baseball that was thrown at me. I don't think I ever actually got a hit in baseball, except for maybe like a single that I hit on the inside of the bat to where your hands go numb because it's so close to your freaking hands. It hurts so bad.
Yeah, it vibrates and that's funny, dude, because we're like opposite then, because with baseball, that's where I hit the triples and a few doubles, and then but in softball, where it comes at you super slow too. I think it's because I was so used to baseball that I was like always ahead of myself. But I think I even got thrown out quite a few times because I would just ground it to the shortstop and they'd throw it to first base before I got there. But I've never hit a double in softball, let alone a triple.
You know what never used to happen when we used to watch baseball as kids? Did you ever see on TV them breaking bats all the time? I don't remember many bat break-ins back in the day.
I do.
Do you? Okay, maybe
I mean,
I'm wrong.
not a lot, but I remember it though as a kid that because they would get mad, and I think Pete Rose did one. I can't remember any other players' names, but no, I've seen it for sure.
Yeah, I remember seeing a guy snap a bat over his knee, and I'm like, man, that guy ain't gonna be able to walk tomorrow. Anyway,
Yeah,
what
well,
kind of
when they're on the juice, they don't feel it anyway.
as a pitcher, I caught every line drive hit right at my face. Lots of incentive, right? Not to get crushed in the face.
Hmm. Oh, James, were you a pitcher in was it softball or baseball, like fast pitch? Either way, a pitcher's a pitcher, and that I mean, dude, you remember my dad? My dad had a broken jaw because he caught a line drive to the face.
Wow.
He was pitching. That was softball. Both okay. Yeah, I couldn't pitch in softball. It's just like I'm like I don't know. I love bowling, but when I was pitching in softball, I'm like I'd rather do this bowling. Like if I'm throwing baseball, I want it to be.
Yeah, TPX bat. I remember those back in the day. I remember like getting hit by a bad pitch before too, like where they hop off the ground and hit you right in the shin or the ankle, and
Oh
you're just
yeah.
you gotta, back in the day we weren't gay, man. We walked that crap off. But when you got home, you were all blew out and swollen up. But you just hop around a little bit and act tough.
Which is funny because I just 2 days ago I smacked my shin, and then I caught myself because I'm just like, oh god, it hurts, and I'm just like, what are you doing?
You
But
can't cry in baseball.
it doesn't seem like it should have hurt that bad, It's like, dude, are my bones getting weaker? Am I getting weaker as a human being? What's up, Blue Unicorn?
Yeah, and don't ever. I remember I didn't wear my cup one time.
You didn't? Oh, dude, I
And
always had
man, no, I learned the hard way.
mine.
Yeah. I thought I had elephantitis for about 3 days. Get hit right between the legs with a ball, man. That stuff swole right up, man. I was like, dude, I'm in big time now. I look like an elephant. Anyway, I couldn't sit. It was bad.
That is funny.
And of course, you don't want to tell nobody because as kids, we were tougher, I think, than kids are now. You didn't go around talking about, oh, my back hurts and my legs hurt. You just, you know, stuffed some ice in
No,
your pants and went on your business or something.
yeah. No, I mean, like that story I was saying earlier with the in the throat with the baseball. By the time I got home, my dad was like, "What happened?" And I just said, "Oh, nothing. I was trying to do catching, but I missed the ball, and I'm good." Like,
Like, you're supposed to have a
nowadays you
throat
go like,
guard.
"What did?" And then the coach threw the ball really hard, and then he hit me, and I just by the time I walked home, I already shook it off, and I was like, it mishap, whatever I said as a 12-year-old.
I think sports has really changed over the last 5 to 10 years for the worse, man. It's like
Yeah, it
so
is.
it's so sissified now. I can't barely watch it.
I haven't watched it in 10 years.
And I
Those being a lot of the reasons.
as much as I love foreign players, when the whole Detroit Tigers can't speak English, I'm like, can we not get at least like 2, 3 players from Michigan that are actually good enough to play, or from why are they all from like where are they all from, man? Uh, Not Peru. Where are they all from? Puerto Rico or something? It's like a hot spot for baseball or something, man. Because
Is it Puerto
I
Rico
mean,
or is it?
it's not Puerto Rico. I can't remember where it is.
No, I know it's on
The
the tip of my
Dominican
tongue.
Republic, I think. I think it's the Dominican.
Yeah, Dominic. Yeah.
But like almost all the guys And it's like even when the Red Wings won the cups that they did, it was almost all Russian.
Yep.
So
I got to answer trash can man's real quick because yeah, it did, and that's the crazy part. Even though with all that gear and all that protection, trash can man, it like I said, it bounced off the tip of the catcher's mitt, and then that I don't know if I leaned forward and the net leaned forward, and the way I don't know, but it all happened in a split second. But yeah, even with that guard that hung down, you got the mask and then that, and then you got the catcher's vest on. So the last thing I was planning on was getting hurt because I was like, I got all this protection. It can't be that bad.
Oh my God, Snooks. Played softball in high school a few times. Once made a home run, got to home base and fainted. That must have sucked. What's up, Blue? Good to see you, man. Cheryl, good to see you.
Oh, I had to mute you. Your mic started doing that weird thing. All right, say something again. Oh, I can't unmute. You muted yourself.
Yo, better.
There you go. Yeah, it's good now.
All right. Shout out to Blue and Charlotte's Webbing and Cheryl. And Snooks.
And Lele. And Nut House.
Yep, and Nut, thanks for the kind words, my friend. Yeah,
and I think Trash Can said something earlier too about like bowling and baseball or something like that. But speaking of bowling, I'm going bowling in 2 days. Saturday, I can't believe it's been a whole year. But for Nina's work, it's like a fundraiser thing. I don't know what you call it, but it's fun. We go bowling and
right.
I won some shit last time, so
there was this line right here in the movie. I forget what.
Oh yeah, there's no crying in baseball.
Right, he's
all.
all.
What was the name of that movie? League of Their Own or something like that.
Yeah, with Rosie O'Donnell and what's the chick's name?
Madonna, I think, was in it.
What's the the girl who was the best though? She was in The Fly, the movie The Fly too. I can't remember. She has red hair. She was in Thelma and Louise, I think.
Oh, that chick. Yeah, I forgot her name. I know who you're talking about though.
Thelma and Louise. Now there's a movie. That's old school. There's no crying in baseball.
Yeah, Thelma and Louise was so messed up of a movie. It's kind of weird how at the same time that movie came out, divorce rates went through the roof.
I kind of liked it. I'm not gonna lie. I liked how they just lived free, and then
no, I love that part of it. But yeah, but it made a lot of women be like, yeah, fuck my man. I don't need my man. I can go die, and then
I'm gonna go meet a guy at my hotel who's gonna steal my money. You remember that? The money was gone.
Dude, I haven't seen that movie in so long though. Great movie though.
Yeah, man, I made that mistake. No cup. I did it once. It's not even that I didn't want to wear the cup. I just forgot it. And you don't want to tell your coach, man, hey, you got an extra cup, coach. I mean, I could have, I guess, if I wasn't so prideful about it. But
all the teams I was on, well, because I did the house league, the travel league, and then I played for a Catholic school that I didn't even go to anymore. And then it was like 40, and then the all-star team. So I never went to practice for any of the teams because I was always at a game for one of the other teams. But every team did the cup check. So you walk by and you with your front knuckles just.
Dang.
And then if you didn't have your cup on, you were like, whoa. Okay. And like, would have hurt a lot more if it was a baseball.
Bro, I've been like, don't be hitting me. What?
Cup check. You always got to wear your cup when you're playing ball, man.
I'd have done it to the coach. Hey, cup check, man.
Just walk up and Cup check.
It could have been a random fly ball, man, or something. Line drive into the bench. Let's see. Best part of the
Right
movie.
on, Forge and Thought. Right on, brother. Good seeing you, man. It's always good to see you, brother.
How far am I behind in chat? Pretty far, huh? Oh! I found a letter. I didn't tell my brother. I forgot, but my mom was talking to someone in California in this letter, and it said that it said David started kindergarten, and he's so smart that it scares me. And then after that, it said and Jimmy is smart as a whip too, but somehow he got injured. I don't know if it was in a football injury or something, but she was taking him to a surgeon. I wasn't sure who she was talking to, someone in San Diego and then California, but she had never mailed the letter. But I didn't even know my brother had to go to a surgeon when I was in kindergarten. I think I knew he had a football injury of some sort to his knee, I believe, at one point. But yeah, things like that are like priceless to me because you don't know, It's like I found out a lot just looking at the pictures. I'm like, oh, really? Who's that guy, Ma?
Right.
I thought you didn't have boyfriends. No, she was a good woman.
Right on, mayhem. Hold on real quick, man.
Go ahead.
2K subs, dude. That's awesome because you just started that channel. Oh shoot, I lost track of where you left off.
Gina Davis, that's right. Gina Davis. Wow, I'm so far behind in chat. Holy crap.
No, not too far. You're only well here, click on a comment where you're at.
Well, I was right. I was back here.
No, you're not far behind then.
I was just trying to make sure that we didn't miss nothing. What's that? They were stoked that you guys all showed up. Thank you. He might make that thing and we can iron out the quirks. What's that mean? Was there cups with like bling on them? You could have special crunked out cups with like rhinestones on them.
When I wore that shit, it was just it was like wearing a thong with a piece of plastic and you're digging balls in the middle.
Oh, Jimmy thinks the knee I hurt was chasing me. Oh, I'm not owning that one. I don't know if that's true.
Or was it when when James threw the football through the Christmas tree or whatever? What was that thing?
Yeah. I still can't believe he convinced my stepdad to go looking for his buddy Carl. Because the MPs had beat him up, in the middle of our city and left him for dead on the side of the road or something. And Ron took him in the car and went looking for him because he thought he was really beat up. Yeah.
Dude, that you know what though? That's impressive, James, because I knew Ron. And that's not something Ron would do.
I think I got this. I probably don't have the story perfect, but I just remember being on the stairs and looking down and watching this play out. And I was just like, wow.
It had to have been convincing though, because I know Ron, he was like really good guy, but a hard ass too. It's like talk about taking no shit. He was just a straight up dude.
My brother probably doesn't know this, but I used to get scared up in the room when I was young, and I used to wait up for him to get home. And then he would watch TV, but he wouldn't let me watch it. He'd throw a sheet over the top of it or whatever, so I couldn't watch it. But I used to wait till he got home so I could go to sleep because I was scared. I was scared sometimes. And Ron would yell up, like when Freddy Krueger came out one time, he's like, turn out the lights, and he's like, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you up the stairs. And dude, I could not sleep, man. I was afraid to even put a foot down on the floor. And then Poltergeist came out.
I was scared a couple times that I spent the night over there. I mean, in our later teen years, but still, because we were drinking and we weren't supposed to be drinking, and then I was crashing over there, and I ended up getting the dry heaves. I think I told the story before, but I was like, "Ugh," and you're like, dude, shut up. And then I hear Ronnie like, you better keep it down up there. And I'm like, and you know, you can't control dry heaves, right?
Yeah,
but
I was calling you a lightweight.
I'm like, I'm choking myself out because I'm like, oh my God, Ryan's going to kill me, dude. I can't.
Yeah, you're such a lightweight. You're up there puking. Didn't even barely drink nothing. And just like, ugh,
no, it's because we drink liquor. I've
like,
always been a lightweight when it comes to liquor. Liquor in my body does not mix.
I was like, he is gonna kill. I'm trying to explain to Steve that he was literally going to kill us.
And he was. He even said that. Don't make me come up there. And I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna come up here and kill us.
Man, when his veins started popping, dude, you really didn't say nothing back to him. It was like you knew just to.
No, yeah, he was, dude. He was definitely an alpha man because, like, if you seen him, it's not like he was real muscular and a big dude. You know what I mean? He was an average, regular dude. So if you seen him, you would be like, oh, I don't want to fuck with that guy. But then if you talk to him, then you're like, I don't want to fuck with that guy. You know what I mean?
Just because he could go 0 to 1,000, and like you didn't know how far he could push it. That's all. You didn't.
He was very smart too, which is dangerous.
You didn't think he would. I didn't think he would do nothing crazy, but man, there was times where his veins were sticking out of his forehead, and I'm like, could he choke me out? I thought, man, would he really choke me out? I mean, you never knew. What's up, Angels Don't Fall? Welcome, man. Steve Harloha, what grade did you and Dave meet?
Yeah, I'm not sure what grade. All I remember is I was 9 and Dave was 10. And that's all I remember. And we played Little League baseball, and we were on different, like, he was on a team and I was on a team, and then we were playing against his team, and we didn't like each other at first. We were going to fight or some shit. I don't even remember what happened there, but oh yeah, Dave was wearing black socks and I was making fun of him. And Dave was like, I'm going to kick your ass. It's like, what? I don't want to fight.
It's because I was on the Blue Jays and I'm wearing black socks. I mean, I kind of deserved it. But my mom freaking lost my socks. She didn't understand the fact that I was going to get like reamed by the team and everybody else for having black socks. Right. You're supposed to have white socks up to your knees, right? And I had like dress black socks.
But the funny thing about it now is that now there would be nothing wrong with that. Because actually, black socks would probably look better than white socks. So it's like, but then again, me too, when I was doing that, I was just going along, I was just a freaking follower, just a kid, just like, oh, we're making fun of this person. Okay. But then me and Dave ended up talking after the game, and we're like, oh, at least for me anyway, I was like, this guy's pretty fucking cool, man. And then we ended up hanging out and then just never stopped hanging out.
Where was that place? I think the first time we hung out was at Telegraph. It was like not Haas, but like in between Haas and Ford Road on Telegraph. It was like a pizza place or some crap. You had Haston High School or whatever it was when we were kids. It was Haston and then Fairleigh Christian or something. But like, if you went down Haas and made a right on Telegraph and you went up about a few blocks across from Mr. Chicken, there was some sort of pizza place or something there.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because my brain automatically goes to whatever was there when before I moved here, which probably isn't even there anymore anyway. But what was it? It was they had like pizza rolls and shit like that, right?
Yeah, I remember I seen you over against the wall and you were smoking Newports. You were smoking inside, and I think I bummed a cigarette or something from you. I think, and then I ended up coming over there and talking more or something. I think that's what I remember. I don't know. The sad part is we weren't even on drugs yet, and I can't remember it properly.
Right. I can't even remember the pizza. Not in that area because I know that
I
section of
I swear it was called Pizzuti's Pizza,
Pizzutis. Yeah, Pizzutis. Yes.
but I kept thinking
Yeah, but that's when we
Pizzuti.
were older, though. That was when we were older, though.
I don't know. I
But
don't know.
yeah, I don't know, man.
Who cares? We're
I
we're
just,
uh, we're in early stage dementia now, so what does it matter? We better write everything down, man. So,
that's why we do this. We're documenting everything.
that's right. We can have flashcards. In another couple of years, we'll have flashcards to remember what we're supposed to talk about. Start the show. My name is what's my name again? Is your name Steve? Or is my name Steve, you know? It's gonna be sad. It'll be just so sad. I'm in the early stage dementia. I swear I am too. Oh, you said dementia. Okay.
Dude, I all the time, man. I did it like 3 times today. I'd walk from one spot 10 feet to another spot, and I get there and I'm like, I don't even know why I walked over here, dude. And then I'd walk back to where I came from, and then I'd be like, oh, that's right, because I gotta, and I'd walk back 10 feet again and be like, why did I do? Wait, dude, I'm literally losing my mind.
I know this isn't funny, but this actually happened to me. I did the obituary for my mom, and I forgot her brother. So like it wasn't the I didn't know they were gonna put the obit out right away, but they did. And so it said, sister so and so and this other sister so and so, and that was it. And then I went home and like, oh my god, I forgot Uncle David. So I had to call him back, and then it was hours later too. It had been out for hours before I had remembered that. Oh my god, man, my mom had a brother. What the hell is happening to my mind?
Well,
So they
at the
fixed
same
it.
time, in that situation you're in, too, I mean, no one's gonna be thinking straight anyway, right? You know.
They're like, "Where were you born? Where was your mother born? Where was this person born? What's the birthday? And what's this number? And what's?" It's like, oh my
Dude,
god.
I didn't know they still did obituary. I haven't read a newspaper in so
Well,
long.
I
Wow.
asked for one. No, you don't. It doesn't come with one. It does online, but I asked for the other one. I just wanted her to have everything. She probably would have wanted it like that. But yeah, no, it's online. If you go to the funeral home, it's a, it's all,
Oh,
it's weird. But yeah, I don't want to see another one of these funeral homes for a while, man. I hope that we don't have to visit another one for a long time.
yeah. I mean, that's what like with Stacy, that it wasn't even at a funeral home, which was cool for me because it was at a country club, a golf course country club, and I don't even remember where the hell it was at. Somewhere in Michigan, up north. Well, not up north, but like towards Commerce, out there somewhere.
Oh yeah, I forgot how many freaking grandkids my mom had. I literally told the lady my mom had 10 grandkids. So I'm sitting at lunch with my brother and his son, and I'm like, yeah. So I told him, she had 10 grandkids and 4 great grandkids, and they're like, wait, 10? And I'm like, yeah, I had 5 and you had 4, and I'm like, oh shit, where'd the other one come from? Somebody's got another kid, don't they? No. So
There's got to be another one we're
I
forgetting
had to,
about.
God, I had to call him back again, and I just felt like an idiot.
Oh,
That's all right.
right on, Peanut.
Go ahead.
Hey, Peanut, I'm gonna for just to answer real quick while you're still here for I got that bowling thing on Saturday, so I don't think, but
Thank you, Nut.
next Saturday, because I wanted to hook up with you and do this stuff, but I don't think I'd be able to make it this Saturday. And even if I could, I'd be cutting it close, and then I'd feel horrible if I was late and screwed up the whole thing. So, but you got my number though, dude, or I got your number. I'll keep in touch with you.
Hey, Nut, I really appreciate all the kind words, brother. They mean a lot. Appreciate you, man.
Oh, sweet. And he said, yeah, next Saturday, and Dave is welcome too. Yeah, I'll talk to you about that later, Dave. But yeah, it'll be fun, man. A lot of fun. But so anyway, I kind of cut you off. You were saying something about what was it? I think you had. I don't know. I thought you had one of Snook's comments up, but that's funny though. Dave. Uh-oh, we lost Dave. Shit, what happened? I thought he got quiet there for a second. Whoa, why am I so? Hey, there we go. I mean, I love myself, but I'm not in love with myself. I don't need to be that big. Jeez. Oh, that's good. I was not expecting Dave to be here tonight, and I'm so glad he showed up, and I'm so glad to hear his voice and hear that he's doing better than I would be doing, and so that makes me happy. Then again, I mean, everyone in that situation deals with anything different, no matter what it is, right? Regardless of what it is, everyone deals with everything differently. But all right, so I'm gonna share a little bit of this video because this video is so freaking good. And I have been watching James Freeman for as long as I've been part of the 1A community. And this guy is just legendary, dude. He's just, it just blows my mind. So if you think about it, before I start the video, if you think about it, because you've heard the argument that, taxes, they're illegal because the government's just taking money that we work for and then they're just blowing it on everything else, but they're forcing us to take it or forcing us to pay it, right? Because if you don't pay it, what happens? You lose everything or you go to jail, which is ridiculous. So that's like, it's enforcing it and it's illegal, but they get away with it. So what James does is, I just play it, and this is very, very good. I've watched this like 10 times already.
We're doing a documentary on organized crime.
Oh, all right. At City Hall.
It looks like a really expensive place. Where does the money come from to fund it?
I was given a tip that this is the location of the organized crime syndicate in power over this entire turf. Is that right? Well, calm
We're
down.
the city clerk's office.
Okay, just calm down though.
Okay.
You okay?
Yeah. Do you have any other questions, sir?
Well, yeah, I do, but let's do some breathing exercises because
Oh, and the other thing is the way James goes about this, which is like what's so the psychological part of it is he approaches them as a police officer would approach most people, you know, and try to like what actually there's another video that he really does that, which is but anyway, this is just
because it seems like you're getting a little. Well, we were told that the organized crime unit in control of this entire turf operates out of this building.
Organized crime works out of City Hall and the building across the street from it.
That's right.
Also city property.
That is the tip that we were given.
Okay.
You okay? Why did you call a guy with a gun?
What are your other questions?
Right now I'm asking, why did you wave a guy with a gun over here? I was just asking you questions. Ben, please don't be disorderly. So I was asking them if the money that's brought into this building is brought here through threats, violence, and coercion. And you know what they did? Instead of answering my question, they called a guy with a gun.
Oh, gotcha.
You see the irony there?
Okay.
We were given certain characteristics of organized crime to be on the lookout for. Organized crime is a structured process rather than random acts of lawlessness. Organized crime groups are often motivated by profit rather than revenge. Organized crime groups use corruption to protect their operations and gain influence. Organized crime groups use threats, intimidation, and force to protect their operations.
doesn't that sound a lot like taxes? And Neil, holy shit, dude, you got to I want to hear more about that. Cost you $100. Oh, it cost you $100. I thought it was percent. I didn't see that. Okay. $100. See? I'll gladly pay $100 for 17 years.
No deadly weapons. Gun lockers available. Hey, how's it going? We're doing a documentary on organized crime, and we were in the area and we saw this building. We were told that some of the people here, if not all of them, are affiliated with an organized crime syndicate. What do you know about that?
Absolutely not.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Okay. What did you say this building is then?
City Hall.
City Hall.
Yes, sir.
So it has nothing to do with organized crime?
No.
Okay. Wonder if I got a bad tip. Or are you hiding something?
I am not.
It looks like a really expensive place. Where does the money come from to fund it? If
It would be from the city.
from the city?
An official city building. From the city government.
Where does the city get the money from?
That is beyond my understanding.
Huh.
I don't do.
I just love how he explains it so perfect that it makes the tyrant, in my opinion, it makes the tyrant be like, oh, I never looked at it like that. Oh shit, maybe I am the bad guy. You know, maybe I am using violence to get what we want.
The politics or the funding of the city.
So it could be organized crime if you don't know where the money comes from.
That is an unusual theory, but again, it's not my purview.
Okay. Well, that's kind of what I'm here to investigate today, as I was told that the place is completely run on extortion, theft, threats of force and violence against people if they refuse to fund it. Kind of the way the Mafia ran back in the day, you know, how they'd come around to the businesses and be like, hey, man, you know, I'll offer you protection at a price. And you're like, hey, you know what? I've actually got my own security. And then the Mafia leaves and they come back later and throw a brick through the window and say, I said, I'll offer you protection, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was told that this place is kind of run this in a very similar way.
I disagree with that.
Okay, not true?
I disagree with that. I personally mean.
Oh, okay. So how is the money collected?
I am a security officer with the city. I do not deal with politics or the funding of the city.
Okay. So you don't know how the money is collected?
No.
But it's definitely not collected through coercion, threats of force or violence or anything?
I've never witnessed or seen that, no.
Never witnessed or seen it?
No.
Okay.
Good.
How is the money collected then? Is it
Probably taxes
Taxes?
would be my theory.
Okay. Taxes. How does taxes work?
I do not
Is it
understand
volunteer?
that. That is beyond my purview. I am a security officer with the city.
Okay.
I do my job, and I do not deal with the politics or the funding of the city.
Just I find it bizarre that you're certain that this place is not funded through threats,
I did not
force,
say
and
that.
violence.
I said I have never witnessed that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you're not sure how it's funded, other than taxes?
Is my theory, yes, sir.
That's your theory? Okay. And taxes are collected, they're optional, right?
I do not know.
Don't know? Okay. I guess maybe that's what I'll have to figure out then, is whether or not taxes are optional. And what would happen to somebody if they didn't pay taxes? You know who you might send me to get the answers to those?
Dude, and shout out to James Freeman too, man. I don't know how I could never do that. Like he keeps his cool and I don't know. I would just, my blood would be flowing because I'd be so excited in the moment of what's going on that I would just screw up somewhere. But he's so good with it. Oh, there's Dave. Dave's back. There we go. What?
Those questions?
He muted for a
I don't
minute.
know.
Okay. Do you know who I might be able to talk to in this building to find out how the money gets to this building to pay your
This building does
paycheck?
not have that staff. Our licensing and tax department is across the street in another building.
Licensing and tax department. And do you know the address of that place?
No, but it's directly across the street.
And the city clerk's not here either?
The city clerk may be here. That would be in their office. You'd have to go in there and ask.
In this one? Okay. Because I'm wondering, I'm thinking, I mean, you're security, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, I don't mean to like press you for stuff. I imagine that your job is just to hurt people if they ask you to hurt them, not necessarily know what's going on. So I respect that you don't really know.
He does an order follow.
Maybe I should ask the city clerk then.
If you'd
Some of
like
these
to.
questions. Okay. What was your name so I can jot down for my supervisor who I spoke to? Mark?
Yep.
Do you have a last name?
I do.
Can I get it?
No. I can give you my badge number.
Okay.
Bravo 1766. B1766. There's our policy not to share our name at this time.
It's policy?
Yes.
Huh. Interesting. And I notice you have a firearm on you.
Yes, sir.
What are you carrying there? What type of firearm is that?
It's a Glock.
It's a Glock? Glock what?
I feel uncomfortable sharing that information at this time. You can make a freedom of information request, and
Is it department issued?
yes, it is.
From the police department?
Yes, sir.
But you have no law enforcement credentials?
Not in this position, no, sir.
Can anybody else carry a firearm in here?
No.
Okay. So we do have different rules for different people?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. And if someone did try to carry if a regular person who isn't authorized by the king or whoever might be in charge were to try to carry a tool of self-defense in here, what would you do?
We would ask them to place it outside in the lockbox.
What if they didn't?
They would be asked to leave.
What if they didn't?
They would be trespassed.
What if they didn't leave still?
That would be up to the police department to escalate that to whatever level it needs to be to include arrest.
What if they refuse to be arrested?
That is beyond my purview.
What if they chose to defend themselves?
That is beyond my purview.
Okay. Interesting.
And the best part is too with the whole, he never really writes anything on his paper. It's just all psychological shit. He's just holding it because anyone that comes up to you, think about it. Anyone that comes up to you with a clipboard, like James is doing there, right away you would just think he's like somebody. He has some kind of authority. Like you would, you know what I mean? It's just like it's a psychological thing that just, dude. He's just guys is so good, man. But he's making all valid points, right? Like, so you're saying that you aren't organized crime, you don't use violence or any of that to take the people's money to keep your organization going, but yet everything he's asking and explaining is explaining that that's exactly what they're doing, right?
Would you personally be willing to escalate to killing somebody over their right to self-defense?
I do not feel comfortable discussing that with you.
Is that a yes or a no?
I just answered you.
You might want to discuss it with yourself, at least. Maybe when you go home tonight. Your lack of responsiveness and the way you're staring at me makes me feel as if you're either upset, uncomfortable, or otherwise unhappy.
You're free to your thoughts, sir.
Okay. Are you upset with the things that I've said?
No.
Okay. You just are non-responsive? Are you deep in thought?
Perhaps.
Okay. Good.
We all have our thoughts.
Good. That's good. I mean, my comments were intended to provoke thought, so I'm glad it worked. I do appreciate you thinking about it then, Mark. All right, I'll go find out where the money comes from, Mark.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Very true, James. I just did a short on that too about
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. I go by
fishing
Grande
license.
Johnson. I'm here to conducting an investigation for a documentary we're doing on organized crime.
Okay.
I was given a tip that this is the location of the organized crime syndicate in power over this entire turf. Is that right?
I apologize, sir. I don't understand what you're saying.
I was told that this is an organized crime unit that operates out of here. Is that right or no?
Are you talking about the police department?
I'm talking about, is this the city?
This is City Hall, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was told that it's an organized crime unit and that it's funded off of extortion, theft, and funds taken through coercion, force, violence, or threats of violence.
Yeah, sir. I've never heard that before. This is yes, this is the city clerk's office. So I really can't help you. I really don't know what you're talking about. I apologize.
Okay, city clerk's office.
Mhm.
All right. What's your name, so I can tell my boss who I spoke with?
My name is Ben Lane.
Ben Lang.
Lane, L-A-N-E.
L-A-N-E.
Mhm.
Okay, and you don't know anything about organized crime operating out of this?
I do not, sir. No.
Okay. I'm sure you've heard of organized crime before. You ever seen a mob movie or a mafia movie or?
I have, sir, but there is no organized crime operating out here that I know of.
Okay, so all the funds that come into this place are given voluntarily by people who choose to fund it?
So this is the city. We are a government agency.
Government agency? Okay. Government agency. Okay, and all the funds that come in are given voluntarily?
Sir, if you need to speak about how the city is funded, I would recommend you speak to the city treasurer's office or the city manager's office.
Okay, city treasurer or city manager?
Mhm.
Are they in this building?
They are not.
Where are they at?
They're across the street.
Okay, I think that's what the security was telling me too. Is that also where the licensing and tax department is?
I believe so, sir. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. If I were to go over there and find out that this entire place was funded from money that was taken through coercion, threats, force, or violence, how would you feel about taking a paycheck from these people?
Sir, I can't answer that because it's a hypothetical question you're asking me. So I'm not going to answer that.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any other questions?
Yeah. What's your salary, Ben?
You can look that up, sir. You can make a public records request for my salary.
Okay. Very suspicious how you're not.
Exactly, Blue Unicorn, because that's the whole point of this video. Is because we were taught in Civics 101 that what the mob does is organized crime and illegal. But what the government does, which is the exact same thing, is okay, so just comply. And Aloha Oahu Rooter, who he has to pay when his toilet is clogged is a plumber, not the government. Why is the government involved with one human being that lives in America that can perform a service, and then there's another human being that lives in America that's toilet is clogged, and he calls that person that could perform that service, so he shows up and performs that service, and in exchange he pays that guy for his services. What the fuck does the government have to do with that? And don't even get me started on freaking road pirates with, oh, you got to have tags on your car. If you don't pay the government to put that little sticker on your car every year, then, well, you could go to jail, or we're going to impound your car. We're going to make your life miserable because we're getting our cut.
You know
But
what
we're
I
not a
thought?
mob. We're not a mob, though. We're the government.
You know what I thought this week as we were preparing for Mom? I was thinking about the taxes and everything and everything you're talking about. And the only time that you ever own a piece of land legitimately is your grave. When you pay for your grave, you don't have to pay any more tax on that land where your body lays. I just was thinking about this last night. It's your final payment,
Kidding. That's
and
crazy.
you're allowed to own that little piece of land, but it's only after you die.
That is crazy. I never even thought about that before. That is crazy to even, wow. And so true.
It's the only way you can own a land.
But they still, even after you're gone, they still tax your immediate family, right? Because
it's over after you pay for that plot. You own that
I
plot.
mean, for that land, but I'm saying, like, let's say that whoever passes, they
yeah,
leave
the house.
anything, then whoever is left to you, they pay even more tax. So it's like whatever that person leaves is still getting taxed, everything except that piece of land.
Isn't that bizarre though? Like, I don't know why. I was such deep thought last night, like 3 a.m, and I'm just sitting there like, wow, that's like, why couldn't they do that while you're alive? Why couldn't they just give you an amount that you could pay off, even if it was just an exuberant amount, like even 2 million, whatever, that you owned your land eventually?
That's how it's supposed to be. But yeah, that's literally how it's supposed to be. But
crazy thought, right?
Yeah. Own land now and then don't pay your property taxes and then still tell me you own land. Nobody owns anything. So how is this a free country if you can't own anything?
Yeah, and
I own my work van, but if I don't pay for that little sticker every year, or if I don't pay for that little safety check sticker, or if I don't pay for insurance on it, then it could get impounded and it costs me more money. And that, so I still own it if I were to just keep it in my garage and be like, yeah, look, I own that thing. I can never drive it or do anything because I'll get in trouble if I do, but I own it.
And really, like, when you own that plot of land, when you die, you weren't alive to own it. So at no time in your life did you ever own your land. Only when you died did you own that piece of property. It's so backwards.
It is, man. That's crazy. Oh, that's deep, is what that is.
That's what happens when you have too much time to think.
Right? Or when your brains work like ours do, just constantly freaking.
Well, yeah, I don't want to keep paying forever, man. It's not like, like if they're not doing nothing for me, why do I got to keep paying them?
Exactly. Great point. That's why are they taking our money which was, remember, it was supposed to be temporary. Taxes were only supposed to be temporary.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember personally because I wasn't alive at the time, but I've done research. It's supposed to be temporary. And then it just got more and more and more and more and more and more and more. And like a Wahoo Rooter says, that's just part of living here, like it or not. But no, it's a mob mentality. It's the mafia, which is called the government, just getting stronger and stronger and more powerful and taking over. So it gets to a point where we don't have any, then we're just screwed. And it's just like, yes, okay, here it is for you, Snooks. Okay. But that's where it ends up.
Why is it that when you pay off your mortgage, why don't you own your land then?
Again, exactly how it should be. Like, okay, my mortgage is paid off. That means it's paid off. I don't own anything. That means I own this. No, not so quick.
I'm okay with them still having an egress or whatever, like that they can come on my property to work on the power lines and all that. I understand that with permission. But for them to say, well, this isn't your land and we can walk on it anytime we want to get to the, because you're on the power line. It's like, yeah, but I pay for that too. And I pay taxes on that too. And I pay taxes on the yard. And I pay, all the other tax. So, but yet you still own a little sliver of my property and can walk on it anytime you want.
Right.
And you can't even fight it. They can literally walk in your backyard, your power company or anybody that you have any like electricity, gas, whatever, they can come on your property whenever they want. Legally. Because they own a sliver of your land.
Yep. And like James, drag shows in Iraq don't pay for themselves, damn it. We need to pay more taxes.
I mean, that's true, man. I mean, Iraqis need more condoms. Gazans.
But, and real quick, Wahoo Rooter, that is true. There is no place in the world to make money than here. No better place in the world to make money than here. But to me, here as in Hawaii, yes, I do agree with that. There is no better place in the world to make money than right here in Hawaii. But like the mainland, the rest of it, I tried that for 30 years prior to moving here. Well, not 30, but I don't know, almost 20 years. But so yeah, I agree with that to an extent. In Hawaii, definitely no better place to make money.
I ran a business for years and years and years, and I never charged anybody taxes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'd say, hey, this job's going to be $375, and at the end I didn't go, oh, by the way, I need 6% sales tax or whatever it was. I just said your materials are going to be $100. I added the tax in, but I never once did I charge someone taxes.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And see, and that's the thing though, Wahoo Rooter, because I almost said your name again. Because America was not built on that. It was not built on taxes. It was not. So it's all a scam, and we are getting scammed. So it should still be the way it should still be the best place to make money on earth and all that shit. But taxes are illegal. And then all taxes are is another group, another organization stealing people's money to keep running their shit.
Why aren't people mad at the banks? That's what I don't get. Because the banks, literally, you put your money in the bank and they loan your money out to somebody else at a high interest rate and rake in cash out because you deposited your money. They lend your money out and make cash on your money, hand over fist. Why is nobody mad about that? Why don't we get a cut of that? And then they give you what? Like, if you have 15 grand in the bank for a month, they give you like 3 cents.
Right. Well, they're making, yeah. No, trust me, dude, I am the one mad about the banks, and that's who I think is really running the show.
Well,
Isn't
they
that's
make the
why I
most
always
money.
say it doesn't matter who the president is. The president isn't making the freaking decisions. It's the banks, Federal Reserve. Those are the ones making the decisions. The president's just a little puppet to swing in front of the people to distract them.
It's like the first time I ever realized that the banks act. First time I realized that my money wasn't in the bank. I freaked out because I went in there and I'm like, hey, I had $20,000 or something. I tried to cash 15,000 or something, 20,000. I can't remember. But they said they didn't have the money on hand and it would take a day or two. I was like, you mean to tell me you don't have 20 grand in this bank? You got this big old vault, blah, blah, blah. You don't have that money on hand? And they might have, but they told me no, it takes a day or two.
That's bullshit. I don't buy it.
And I was like, they're like, we never have more than 50 grand on hand. And, we have so many people take money out every day. And I'm thinking, so I said, so you don't actually keep all of our money here in the big safe thing that you have? And no, they send your money out somewhere else so they can process all the loans to everyone else and make 30% or whatever the terrible interest rate is. Make all kinds of money off your money and never give you a return for it.
No, yeah, it was, like you said, 3 cents. And then, yeah. Because I did that before we had to, well, a friend of mine this was 20 something years ago, 30, 25 years ago. And him and a guy he was working with, they closed on this deal they had. So they went to the bank to go cash his check. And it was like, at the time, I think it was like 20 or 25 grand. And dude, and they called police to show up and made this huge deal about, and it's like, yeah, like you're a bank. Like, you know how much money comes in and out of here every day? And then, now when you got to give it back, it's like, wait a minute. We got to make sure this guy's safe. We got to take your fingerprints. Like, I just remember that, dude. I was watching it going, what? Why are they fingerprints? Dude, did you commit a crime? What is going on? It's your money. Like, you're trying to get your money, but they're taking your fingerprints and they got police here. Like, this huge deal for what?
Doesn't it make you want to pay more taxes when you saw Biden leave $80 billion worth of freaking military equipment in Afghanistan?
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Makes me want to pay way more taxes. $80 billion.
I was just, you know what, at that point, I was like, you know what? I want to go to work every day and give 99% of every dollar I make to the government. And I'm only going to keep 1% of it. So,
and how come I can't own all that equipment? You just gave it to a bunch of Afghanistan people and they can have all that military equipment, but I can't even buy that in the United States.
Right.
Legally, but you left it to them. Now, they probably started their own private army with all of our equipment and sold it to the Taliban and the Houthis. Half of our stuff's probably in their militaries now. And how come Biden didn't go to jail or something? Oops, a $80 billion mistake. Oops. At least destroy the equipment or do something. You don't leave it to the enemy. What a joke.
Oahu Ruder says, whine away. You should be trying to advance yourself financially every day, which is exactly what I do. You see the people making money want you to whine and say, poor me, which is exactly what I don't do. They need people like, well, not me, because I don't do that. The point is I'm an honest person and I have to sleep at night. The point is that the government is ripping off every single person in America by stealing from them. And then on top of that, on top of the taxes and all that shit, Then if you're driving down the road and God forbid you go 5 over or you don't completely stop at that stop sign, they're going to terrorize you some more and then make your life even more of a pain in the ass because, oh my God, now I got to miss a day of work to go to court because I didn't completely stop. Where's the victim? Who was hurt? Where's the crime? Nope. It's just because taxes, they're already taking so many taxes. Like, well, we can't really raise that anymore. So just give more road piracy and just collect more money from people doing shit that ain't hurting nobody. It's just the whole point is why can't we just all live? Why does the and I seen you said something earlier about the military, yeah. So keep the taxes at the 1% it was supposed to be at from the beginning. Everything's good.
I don't mind paying taxes, but when they waste my money,
that's what I mean. I mean, I know there's a purpose behind it. I understand that. I get that. But it also was supposed to only be at 1%.
Yeah, and don't be throwing my money and giving like, you know, the gay African
don't be buying
soccer
fucking
team my money,
condoms.
dude.
Don't be buying $80 million worth of condoms for some other country. Like, how about I could spend the money that I made and that I earned on whatever the hell I want to spend it on?
Sex changes in jails and prisons so that a guy can like become a girl so he can get wanked in jail all day. And our taxes are paying for that. Are you kidding me? Pay the doctor to accidentally make a mistake. Wrap his vagina over his forehead or something. My God. I mean, you know the world's got to almost be over or something. When we're paying for prisoners to get sex changes with our tax money, something's off.
Exactly.
Supposedly DEI is over. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Exactly. Yeah.
I think the cat's out of the bag, man, at this point, and it's going to be hard to put it back in the box.
I'm reading out. Wow, these comments are getting crazy, man. I
know. I'm
can't
looking
even
at
keep up. I know. I'm like, I'm listening to you, but at the same time, I'm like, what? All right, I'm gonna play a little bit more of this because I've already seen this a dozen times. So I'm gonna play a little more of this and catch up on the comments.
Not cool. Sir, you're asking me questions. I've already told you who you need to talk to.
Well, calm down.
The city clerk's office.
Okay, just calm down though. You okay?
Yeah. Do you have any other questions, sir?
Well, yeah, I do, but let's do some breathing exercises because it seems like you're getting a little. Ben.
What are your other questions, sir?
Ben, you're getting a little fired up. I need you to not be disorderly.
What are your other questions, sir?
Ben, I need you to not be disorderly. You okay?
What are your other questions?
You okay? Why did you call a guy with a gun?
What are your other questions?
Right now I'm asking, why did you wave a guy with a gun over here? I was just asking you questions. Ben, please don't be disorderly.
If you don't have any city business, you can be asked to please leave.
Mark, I do have city business. Ben, why did you call a guy with a gun over here when I asked you questions?
Because, sir, I told you I don't have any more answers for you, and you continue to ask me questions.
So when I ask you, you understand I'm trying to find out about organized crime. Wait.
I do not know anything about organized crime,
Ben,
sir.
calm down. I need you to calm down, Ben. Don't get disorderly. Okay, so I ask you if this place is funded by threats, coercion, and violence, and your answer is to call a guy with a gun?
That's incorrect, sir. You asked me a hypothetical. I explained I'm not answering hypothetical questions.
I asked if it's funded by threats, coercion, and violence, and you waved a guy with a gun over here to try to intimidate me.
No, sir, you asked me you asked me a hypothetical question, and I said I would not answer hypothetical questions.
Ben, if you don't want to cooperate with the investigation, you are free to go.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
You're welcome, Ben. I'm going to jot down that you were uncooperative, combative, and that you called people with guns. I know when he waved you over there, it looked like, I mean, we talked about you have a firearm on you, right? And I just found it really suspicious that I asked him whether the funding for this building was through threats, coercion, and violence, and his immediate response was to wave a guy with a gun over. Does that make sense?
I'm a security officer.
Right.
I'm not a guy with a gun.
You are a guy with a gun. You are a guy with a gun in a building where I've been told that I am not allowed to have the equal right to self-defense. You see how it's starting to look like this may actually be an organized crime syndicate operating on threats, coercion, and violence against innocent people? I came in, you know, heard the accusations, but making no conclusions. But it is beginning to look like I hit the nail right on the head here. Don't you think, Mark?
I think people are allowed to have their own thoughts.
Okay. All right, Mark. Well, just so you know, we're no threat. We're only asking questions and documenting the situation. Does that make sense? Mark, I'm just trying to be open and clear with you. So, all right? So that there's no misunderstandings, or you don't think that I would act the way that you guys act and threaten violence or anything like that upon anyone. Does that make sense?
Sure.
I would never do such a thing. I would never act like you guys.
Sure.
I feel like I might be targeted at this point simply for asking if this place is funded by force, threats, coercion, and violence. Should I sleep with one eye open from now on? You think?
Hey, Oahu Rooter, I will definitely have you on the panel. I mean, not today because we've already been going too long, but dude, I will definitely have you on the panel if you want to do a podcast with me and Dave and talk about this. You are definitely welcome. It's just we usually go 2 hours and we're already over the 2 hour mark, but dude, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Just let me know when, I mean, next Thursday, the Thursday after, just let me know when, and we can definitely have that debate. Absolutely.
I think you're allowed to have your own thoughts, sir.
Okay. There's the police. I think the police just showed up for us. Hey, man. Doing good. How are you? Doing an investigation. You want to come over here? It's the noise from the water over here is too much. Yeah. Well, we can talk about it over here. I just don't like the background noise.
What are we doing?
Well, did they call you for us?
Yeah.
I thought so. Yeah. Could I get your name real quick?
Yeah, Lieutenant Reynolds.
LT Reynolds?
Yep.
Like Ryan Reynolds, spelled the same way, I mean?
Sort of, yeah. The last name is spelled the same way, yep.
R-E-Y?
Yep, that's how you spell it.
Okay.
Yep.
And you guys don't give last names? Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? That is your last name. How about your first name?
1290 is my badge number.
1290. How about your first name?
No.
Okay.
So what's going on?
Well, I didn't call you, but I do think it's interesting that they did.
Okay. Well, they called because they said that you were causing a disturbance inside.
Oh, really?
So,
okay. Well, so is there a statute that says that filing a false police report is a crime?
Of course there is.
Okay. What's that? Do you?
Right on, Oahu Rooter. But for sure, man, we'll definitely set that up, dude. I got no problem with that at all, man. For sure.
Know what it is?
Offhand? No, I don't. It's ARS 13, Title 13.
Okay. Who called then?
City Security.
Okay.
City Hall Security.
You want to go ahead and charge him then?
For.
Why
don't you tell me what you're doing that might have caused him to call us?
The irony of
I wasn't here, right?
The irony of what I'm
doing. You don't have to tell me anything, which is totally your right.
Right.
In which case, I'll just leave.
I kind of want to tell you because the irony of the fact that he called you is just insane.
Okay.
So we're doing a documentary on organized crime.
Oh, all right. At City Hall.
Well, we were told that by somebody that there are people within this building whether it is the city itself or representatives or whatever, don't know, that the organized crime unit in control of this entire turf operates out of this building and that building over there.
That organized crime works out of City Hall and the building across the street from it.
That's right.
Also city property.
Yep. That is the tip that we were given.
Okay.
So the Mafia will come in and they'll offer protection, right? They'll come to a business and say, hey, man, 20%, and we'll take care of you. Somebody tries to rob you, we'll take care of them.
Sure.
We'll offer you protection, right? And the owner says, yeah, you know what? I've actually got my own security. Not interested in your protection. So the Mafia leaves. They come back and throw a brick through the window, right? Come back and say, oh, shoot. See what happened? They say, all right, man, I said I'll offer you protection, right?
Okay.
You heard of that model, right?
Sure.
And at that point, it's like, okay, I get it. The protection I need is from you. And if I don't pay you, I'm going to need protection, right? Mm-hmm. So I was trying to find out from them. I was asking them how the city is funded.
How the city is funded?
Yeah.
Taxpayer dollars, obviously.
Okay, they wouldn't tell me that. So it's taxpayer dollars? Taxes?
Just like every other city, right?
Okay. Funded through taxes? And those are voluntary, right?
Taxes?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to get into the discussion of the Constitution. I don't know how it's I think the Constitution determines how taxes are paid and who pays them and so forth. But are they voluntary? I don't know. I pay my taxes. You probably pay yours. Do we like it? Not necessarily, but we do it, right? Because we're good citizens.
Okay. All right. So maybe not voluntary then?
I don't know, man. I'm not.
Have you ever thought about what would happen if you didn't? What if you said, you know what?
I'm here because they called about a disturbance. You guys are now outside, which is fantastic. You want to talk about anything else, how I can help you with something, I'm happy to do that, but I'm not going to get into a discussion about taxes or the Mafia, which I don't know anything about, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I know. If you did, you seem like a good guy. So if you did and you realized, holy smokes, I'm literally working for blood money that's been taken from people through threats, violence, and coercion, I would imagine you'd be the type of guy who would say, you know what, man, I'm out. It doesn't mean you wouldn't be law enforcement still. It doesn't mean you wouldn't be a guy who protects people's life, liberty, and property, but you would probably say, holy smokes, man, I'm the bad guy.
Doesn't sound right.
I became the Mafia. So I was asking them if the money that's brought into this building is brought here through threats, violence, and coercion. And you know what they did? Instead of answering my question, they called a guy with a gun.
Oh, gotcha.
You see the irony there?
Okay.
You see that? Now, we were super calm. You'll see the video posted later. I mean, he was getting real escalated.
Okay.
Ben Lane. And we told him, I tried to teach him some deep breathing exercises. But he was, I mean, you could see, and he needed it. I've been there. I'm sure you have too. Yeah. Sometimes, people say or do something, but we weren't trying to get him upset. We just wanted to know where the money came from. And he says, no.
And that's real quick too. I agree with you, James, when you said in your opinion, proving that you're smarter than a city clerk doesn't really help solve the big issues. It is entertaining, but only seems to cause division. But I don't think it's really, I do agree with that to an extent, because I don't think it's proven that he's smarter than, I think it's just proving a point. It's just because, I mean, think about how many times you weren't aware of something, or you're just going through life and then someone brings it to your attention and you're like, oh, I mean, I say this like twice a week, like, dude, I never even thought of it that way, and then it kind of opens my mind more. And then and that's the thing, dude, even with showing this, I don't know, I could be 100% wrong, but at this time and moment, this very second, I agree with James Freeman 100%. So it's, I don't know, 5 years from now, I might turn around and be like, oh, I was a fucking idiot, dude. I didn't know what I was talking about. But I wasn't, to be honest, dude, none of us know what the fuck we're talking about at the end of the day. So, anywho, I think it's almost over. So let's see.
It's not threats and violence. And then he called you. And I think first he called in the security guard. It looked like an attempt to intimidate us because I don't have a gun.
Did he ask you to leave? any
No,
point?
no.
Oh,
And I wouldn't have to leave anyways. I was there conducting official business. So, and even if he did ask me to leave, but I told him, you're not detained. You know, you can, if you don't want to cooperate with the investigation, clearly that's suspicious, right? But not illegal.
sure.
So at that point he left, but I guess they called you anyways. But the irony of me saying, hey, are you operating here under threats, violence, and coercion? And then multiple people with guns get called into a building where the sign says that I'm not allowed to carry a gun and be able to defend myself, right? So I've been disarmed. I'm no longer able to defend myself. And when I ask questions about threats, violence, and coercion used against people like me, they call people that looks like threats, violence, and coercion to be used against me.
Exactly. And a huge shout out to James Freeman. The guy does great work. So, all right, comments. And Blue Unicorn too. You are more than welcome to come on too if you want. If when we set it up with the Wahoo Rooter.
I don't disagree with Freeman. I've never seen him before. This first time I seen him, but I think at the end of the day, I don't know what difference this will make. But I mean, I get that point that he made for everyone that already knows this is a problem, but I don't see that it'll change anything in that building or make any difference. I think like what my brother was saying is to organize, right? It says a lively debate is always good, but organizing is even better if one wants positive results. That it's going to take an organization of the people moving as one and saying, hey, this isn't cool. We're not having it, but peacefully and legally. But I mean, what he's doing, I think, is cool, but it's just
right.
He is.
It's not. I don't think it's making a difference, but it could be with one individual person. It could be opening the eyes of one person, going, "Oh, because that has happened to me a lot." I was like, "Dude, I never thought of it like that," and then my life got better once I realized it and changed.
He was trolling the guy. Obviously,
Oh, yeah.
The guy with the bald head. He was trolling him. But the guy with the bald head was acting like he was above anything. Like, if I was the bald guy, I would have just said, I don't know anything. I would just play it stupid and tell him, if you want to, investigate across the street, go ahead. But yeah, as far as that, I don't know anything. He could, instead, you could tell he physically was getting angry. And the guy with the guard was a little weird too. Like, you could just tell his body language was like standoffish.
I think the guard went home that night and was like, fuck. Like what I was saying, like he really thought about that. I never thought of it like that. Am I the bad guy? Like, why am I carrying a gun, but nobody else can carry a gun? Why am I actually a sovereign citizen when they tried to say that citizens claim to be sovereign citizens, but no, police are the real sovereign citizens because they think they're above the law. They think that the laws don't apply to them.
Well, as long as we don't do anything about it as a people, we always say we the people, but man, when it comes down to being the people together, people just don't really organize. They just can't be bothered with it.
The only time they organized, it was like, well, we're going to go loot a whole city and burn it down. Hell yeah, let's do that. No, but
which gives the police, then they're like, oh yeah, this is why this stuff happens to people out here, because you're a bunch of freaking looters and psychos, and that's why we are always scared and already they're ready to use violence and snap on people because they already think you're a criminal when they pull you over.
The police see that and right away they're like, oh
yeah. And it makes them nervous, man.
Happen is
they're already reaching for their guns as they approach the vehicle because they already suspect everyone of being a criminal.
because of guilty conscience, because they are the real criminal. They're the ones that are stealing your money every day for not stopping completely or not paying for a tag or whatever. How many times have people got pulled over for bullshit? Dude, in the past 2 days, I've watched like 3 videos of people getting pulled over for you were doing, and one of them was actually an old video. Shout out to Chuck Bronson and John Felix, because it was a John Felix video from a while ago, and Chuck Bronson reposted a video of John Felix, and he drives purposely with his cruise control, and he's in Florida too, by the way, Snooks. With his cruise control on, he was at 54 miles an hour. A cop pulls him over and says, well, you're doing 65 and a 55. And he's like, I wasn't even doing 55, motherfucker. But a whole nother video, but it's how many times, because cops are allowed to lie, but you're not. You can't lie, but the cops can lie. And then whose side do they take when you go to court? Well, of course, the judge takes the cop side because they're on the same team.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Rooter. She's hot.
Oh, dude, Rooter, dude. Oh, Pelosi, I want to put some ice cream on my balls and be like, come here, Nancy.
She's hot because she's got menopause.
Disgusting.
She's got serious menopause, man.
She's like, what did you say about ice cream, Steve? Steve, did you say something about ice cream? I'm going to come lick it off your balls, Steve. Come here.
She's like 90 now, isn't she? She's got to be 90 or 80.
At
80
least,
something.
man. No, I was going along with it, dude, and then a visual popped in my head, and I was like, oh, that's fucking gross, dude.
I seen her the last time I saw her sitting and listening to Trump talk. Like she literally, it looked like she had Parkinson's. She was literally shaking. Her hands were shaking. Everything was shaking. I'm like,
didn't they pull her in on a wheelchair or some shit?
I didn't see that, but
I don't remember. I really didn't. Why? I kind of stopped paying attention to politics because I was getting so stressed out about it. I was like, why am I wasting my time on this shit? But I could have swore I seen something where they like actually pulled her in. She was in a wheelchair, and it's like, why? Like, she's done, dude. Why are you like? Yeah.
She's eating just enough kids to stay alive.
Right. And why does she still need, like, aren't you set for life anyway for the very little amount of time of life you have left? Why? Oh, I like your shirt, dude.
Thanks,
I think I got the same shirt. No shit.
My house is a mess, so sorry about that.
My old man told me you can beat the charge, but you can't beat the ride. Yep. Yeah, that's so true, James. And that's the whole point too of why I am part of the 1A community, is because it's the truth, and it's not like, and that's with it, you know, like these back the blue people, which I say back the blue till it happens to you, but they always say like, oh, well then you can sue them and then you get a settlement. No, it's just stop violating people's rights. Like, we have rights, and you took an oath as a police officer to uphold those rights. But instead of doing that, what you do is you violate all of those rights because you got a big ego, because you're a sovereign citizen, you're above the law, and I got a badge and a gun and a taser, and you better do what I say or else I'll show you. It's like, no, how about sticking to the oath of upholding my rights? Stop fucking violating them and being an egotistical, narcissistic, sociopath, psychopath, piece of shit, good for nothing, low-life loser. How about that? Just a thought.
I could never be a police officer, but I wouldn't mind being like detective or something. Like trying to solve actual serious crime, people that actually need to be locked up because they're psycho, but I couldn't like every day sit around and be giving people tickets all day. And I mean, I understand like from driving through Dearborn that some people need freaking tickets, man. But
Yeah,
you know, the average Joe who has a broken taillight and doesn't know it or can't afford it, yeah, I get it. Leave the guy, you know, because I was a victim once of that. I had a cop every day I left my apartment over on Haggerty. I'd go to work, and I've had that same cop in 2 weeks pulled me over 4 times. And it was for like, you know, like, yeah, I told you to get that taillight fixed a couple days ago. I'm like, yeah, I get paid Friday. I couldn't afford it yesterday. I'm not going to be able to afford it tomorrow. And I can't. Well, he's like, well, you shouldn't be driving the car then. And I'm like, the light still lights up. My taillight's cracked. You know, what do you want me to do? Put some red tape on it or something? I mean, you know, he hated me. He didn't
yeah.
like
It
me.
was like like he was out to get you because of his
Yeah,
ego. Like, oh,
yeah.
he ain't gonna listen to me. Well, I'm gonna show him who's boss.
And I've had other cops where I was doing 10 over, and you know, they're like, hey man, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know, dude. My mind was somewhere else. You know, I had a fight with the old lady or whatever. I'm just out here trying to catch some air, and they've let me go, you know, but
Right.
I've had that happen many times. But
Well, no, I mean, dude, and this is the only thing I can't really, and is I don't know, because here where I'm at, the island that I live on, I really have no complaints. But I've lived in Michigan, I lived in Detroit, I lived in Colorado, I lived in Ohio, so I do have complaints. But here, I really can't complain because the 3 times that I was pulled over, 2 times I got a ticket, and I deserved them because I wasn't doing 5 over, I wasn't doing 10, I wasn't doing
right,
20 over, I was doing like 25 to 30 over. So, yeah, all right, you got me, dude. I shouldn't have been doing that, whatever. But, and then the third time, he just said, you know why I pulled you over? And I was like, because I'm driving like an asshole. And then turns out he wasn't even on duty. So I flipped the script. I was like, wait a minute. Fuck you, dude. You're not even on duty. You can't put, like, this is against the law right here. You're abusing your power. You just can't pull me over because you're a cop and you're not even on duty. What the hell is that shit? Because out here, too, like, there's no blue and whites or black and whites or, you know, the regular police cars. Most cops out here just, they drive their own SUVs and normally 4Runners. But anywho, so the point being is out here, I can't really complain. And just like making money, like Oahu Rudy was saying earlier, just like making money. That's why I freaking love it here. Well, the main reason I love it is because of the weather, but then a lot easier to make money here anywhere else than I made in America. And the cops aren't really that bad out here.
by the way, I was telling you I wanted to go to the Philippines and buy a house and all that. Totally changed my mind because all the people that I talk to from the Philippines tell me that the weather is trash.
Well, and there's so many different islands too in the Philippines. Actually, Oahu Rooter will know a lot about that.
They said it rains all the time. There's a lot of flooding. It depends where you're at, obviously,
Yeah, yeah.
east, west, south, whatever. But there's a lot of flooding. There's a lot of rain. There's a lot of gray days. They're like, okay, so and more than one. There's probably 10 different people from different parts of the Philippines told me the same things. Like they'll go, yeah, you'll love the beautifulness of the Philippines, except for the heat, the excessive heat, and the humidity and the rain. Other than that, it's paradise. But yeah, so Hawaii's probably, I'd say, 100 times better than the Philippines as far as
Yeah.
the weather goes.
But I do know too, if you come to Hawaii with $10,000, or if you go to the Philippines with $10,000,
Oh
you're
yeah,
broke as shit in Hawaii, but you're rich as fucking the Philippines.
If I came to Hawaii, I'd have to have like live with 6, 7 other people, you know, in a house.
Dude, that's what I did for the first 10 or 7.5, 8 years that I lived here. That everywhere I lived, I had like 15 roommates, dude.
Or a van down by the river would be all right.
Right. But no, I literally had my minimum amount of roommates that I ever had was 6. 5, 6.
Anarchy.
There was one place I lived when I literally had 15 because it was this huge house in Kailua, and it was just they separate, like every room was like its own studio, and I had 15 roommates, dude. It was crazy.
Look at that. I know a guy that lives in the Philippines, got a monkey. He says the monkey is a a-hole. Yeah, man, I live in that insane asylum, and it's called Dearborn. Screw Detroit, because Detroit, there are parts of Detroit that are completely dead in ghost town. But where I used to live down in Southwest, I went down there last week, and I rode past my old neighborhood. The Spanish or the Mexicans are down there, and they're buying, like, they'll take their family and they'll buy the whole block, and they will fix up all the houses and put gates around them, and they all look out for each other. They all got dogs, you know, and
Dude,
I was surprised at how nice, like, my street looked better now than it did before. I thought it was gonna be all tore up. And the road where they always burnt cars down there by John Cronk and Livernois, no, not Livernois, Springwell or Central. They used to burn cars on that road. The company bought that and made the road all nice and painted the curbs, and it was like, dang, bro. So the Mexicans loved that part of Detroit, and that whole area is so much better. They even have like speed bumps.
I can imagine, yeah, dude. I love Mexican people, man. Actually, the dude we got working and for us now to finish our fence. Shout out to Miguel if you're listening. Dude, I always forget he's Mexican because I don't look at anybody for what their race is or what their nationality. You know what I mean? And I always forget that.
They're hard workers.
He's dude, very hard and very good too. Like skilled and not just like just trying to get $1 and then leave. It's like no, they take pride in their work like I do. You know, it's
I
like
forgot to tell my brother the other day that I wanted to go down and get some tamales from Mexican town down there because I was down that way. But you remember the tamales from down there? The fresh tamales? Oh, man. Those things are awesome. They have fresh chips, like, you know, the tortilla chips. You can watch the old Mexican women actually making the chips and then frying them in this big thing and then dumping them on a big stainless steel table and salting them, and then they bag them for you fresh, and they're still warm when you leave. It's authentic food, good food.
dude, I love, man. I used to be, there was sometimes when I go to Southwest, I was more scared in Southwest than I was East Detroit. To break that down for anyone listening, I was more scared to go to the bad areas of Mexican neighborhoods than I was black neighborhoods because those fucking vatos you do not want to fuck with. Like, but at the same, they remind me of Filipino people because at the same time, they will love you to death and they're loyal as shit and they're just really good people. But
They're definitely family orientated too. It's like that's one thing I like about Arabs is as crazy as a lot of them are, and I'm not saying a lot. I'm not saying all of them. Just saying they're very family orientated. They sit in the front yard, like 10 or 12 of them. Their kids aren't on the phones and the
bro, I
tablet.
swear to God, bro, I'm my mother's eyes, bro. I swear to God. Voila.
When I go to Dearborn in the middle of the summer, it's like everybody's outside. They're riding their bikes. It's kind of like the American dream that we grew up with. We don't have that anymore, by the way, but they do. And there's hardly any crime. Hardly anybody steals from, you know.
Yep. And that dude, that I'm glad you just said that, because that goes to what James just said. Is my advice is to avoid police unless you in real need of their help. And my not legal advice is never call the police ever, because it never works out to your favor. There's so many times when the person that called the police, thinking the police are going to come help them, ended up being unalived, or ended up in jail, or ended up just not to what they expected. So, and then why I was glad you said that is because the reason it's probably like that in East Dearborn is because they don't call the cops. They handle that shit before the cops are even called. And then people are like, well, we're not going to do that again. Not in that neighborhood. We don't want to mess with that dude. You know what I mean? Because they handle it. And that's how it should be.
Hey, what's up, Wolverine? It's good to see you, brother.
Wolverine, what's up, brother?
I agree, anarchy. I wish it was common for food carts all over the place too, man. I love eating off those things. Give me a good taco truck from an authentic Mexican any day. I'll eat that stuff every day. See, Jim?
Yeah, right, Blue. Tell that to Nina. Nina would be like, I am Mexican or Filipino, motherfucker.
I got to say that cops have saved me too at times, man, when I was in some serious trouble, like that big fight we got in, Steve. I mean, even though we say what we say, but that day would have went way different if the cops weren't on the way on that corner when all those guys were fighting with all the 12 people.
With the baseball, that I'll never forget, feeling the wind and in slow motion seeing the tip of a baseball bat go.
Yeah,
and I was like, holy shit, dude, that was a quarter of an inch away from my face.
Just think if that would have went another 10 minutes.
Right.
And that lady didn't go, I called the cops, you better get out of here. And everyone scattered, man. It would have been like, what would have happened?
Right. But that was by her saying she called the cops when everyone scattered. So
scattered like cockroaches, bro.
Right. But when the cops showed up, I don't remember anything what happened after that. All I remember is that.
But you got in the car with me.
Right. But when the cops showed up, what happened to anyone that was still there? Because I know I don't remember having an interaction with the cops, but it wouldn't have went good if we did, put it that way.
Oh, I remember what happened. Oh, you were in the car with me, or did you go in your own car? Because our car got stopped and they said, where's the gun? Where's the gun? And then I had to get on my knees and lock my fingers behind my head, and so did every other dude.
I was in a different car then, because I don't remember that.
Yeah, they put the girls on the curb and they put us guys around the knees locked with the fingers behind our head. They
See, you're being treated like a criminal.
Well, yeah, because the lady said there was a gun pulled and blah blah blah, you know.
Right. I kind of hearsay.
But yeah, it was true though. It might have been true.
What's up, David Devine?
There might have been a water gun involved in that. We had some water guns.
I know, but that's where it gets like.
It gets dicey.
Yeah, that's where it's like, I get it, but then again, it's like they take it too far. Like their egos get too big, and then they just stomp all over it. So I mean, I get it. Yeah, it's like, but then what happens to where everyone just keep doing that, and I can just call and be like, hey, you know what? I don't like my neighbor, and so I'm gonna call and say, hey, this asshole who lives next door to me is waving a gun, and then they're gonna come.
Right.
You know, like, well, the dude said you had and the guy's just going, I was just watering my plants, man. What the fuck? You know,
if I have a serious problem, I normally don't call the cops.
I will never call the cops.
I mean,
I don't think I ever have, now that I think about it. I mean, even when I was a back to blue guy, I never called the cops.
If you're, put it this way, if you are trusting your life and to stay alive to the police, then you are stupid.
Then you're a fool. That's like saying, The government's here to help us.
I mean, no offense, but literally, you have to be ready to defend yourself for at least what, 4 to 5 minutes, 7 minutes
I'll
on
say
your
it.
own.
I'll say it with offense. If you think the police are your friend and there to help you, then you are a fucking idiot. Take offense if you want. That's just the truth.
And when I worked for the city, when I worked at the building, and there was a guy in there threatening violence and swinging at people, and the cop, my buddy, the cop, he was retired cop, he tackled this guy to the ground, and he had to hold the guy for 18 minutes. The cops were literally 2 miles away. The cop shop was 2 miles away. He held him for 18 minutes, and he's a retired 30-year veteran. And literally for 18, I don't know if you ever see anything like it, but 18 minutes is
Dude,
like
18 minutes is a
forever.
long time, man. A very long time.
And my buddy's just like, after they came and everything, he's all shaking because his muscles were so tense for so long that he had to go home and go to bed, basically. But yeah, the guy was threatening violence against the patrons and, spitting on stuff. And he asked him to leave and he wouldn't. And he started grabbing in his bag. So the cop told him to leave 5 times. He wouldn't. And then he shoved the cop. And at that point, the cop punched him in the face and like suplexed him onto the ground and held him down. And then everybody else in there came and held one leg. All the patrons were on one leg, one arm, helping him. And then everyone's like, where are the cops? They're 2 miles away, literally not even 2 miles.
Right. And yeah, this is crazy. Because, dude, 2 miles for a cop is like what, 20, 30 seconds?
And one of these days, by the way, I have the complete video of the whole incident because I got it off the security cameras. And
no shit, dude. That's what you got to put on your channel right there.
I got the punch, the first push, the punch, the ask to leave, and then the patrons hold them down. I got the whole thing.
Dude, that's what you got to put on your channel.
Yeah, I was afraid, as long as I had a job there, though, I didn't feel like it was right to release it. So if I ever do not work there anymore, I will release it. But
no, I didn't think about that part. You're right. That was good that you didn't at the time because What's up, Too Tall? Good to see you, brother.
What's up, Too Tall? And remember, I told you that I had a lady come out, a music therapist, and sing to Mom, and I was going to release some of those. Well, my mom is in the background in the bed, and when I watched them and I started to want to release them, I don't feel like it's. I said, what was I thinking? Like, I'm not going to release a video of my mom in bed not feeling well with the lady singing, by the way. So, like, I have these beautiful songs, but at the same time, I don't want to show the videos. And actually, when I listen to them now, they're causing me pain and getting me upset, even though they made her feel better and made me feel better at the time. But I literally have 8 of these videos that are awesome, but I'm never going to release them now. But I would love to, but I can't because, it's like, I feel like it's disrespectful at this point to my mother.
Right. No, I totally get that.
It's like a private moment, you know what I mean? And it's, so.
No, I agree with you because, I seen them. You showed me one of them anyway.
It's just it's private, and now that she's gone, it makes me even more like, that's in my final moments. I don't want to be plastered on YouTube.
Yep.
So how disrespectful could you be? So those will just be mine. Yeah. I would love to. Anyway, the therapist was so great and so gracious and sang like an angel. But I would, yeah.
And then, and James is right. What he said a little bit ago, right here. You are right. Their job is not to protect you. That is not their job. That is true. and it is Supreme Court ruled. But they don't allow you to defend yourself either.
Right.
And they treat everyone like fucking criminals.
Agreed.
And they extort everyone. And Taiwan is not a country. It was Formosa before the Chinese who lost the Civil War went there and decimated the locals. Taiwan claims it is the real China. I haven't heard that one. No shit.
Well, I know Taiwan is a democracy.
Democracy
Technically.
never worked.
But, big boy China's there. But I think we would actually go to war with China over Taiwan. And I don't know how you guys feel, but I really believe the United States would definitely back Taiwan against China. I don't know how you guys feel about it, like I said, but I'd love to hear your opinions on it. But over those chips, man, we need those chips. And unless we start getting rare earth here and a bunch of that stuff being built here, we need Taiwan. If we want to continue with all these chips for our military stuff, we have to have Taiwan. Because I think, 95%? Or 90% of all the chips are made there?
Is it? I don't even know. If it is, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it's like, I think 70% or higher of our antibiotics are made in China and we buy them from them. At the same time, they've poisoned, I was talking to my brother today, they've poisoned like 65% of their water is absolutely useless for anything.
I did not know any of that shit. What I do know, though, is what Todd Bushy, shout out to Todd Bushy, because that is facts right there. To truly find happiness and peacefulness is to ignore it all and focus on yourself. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely, man.
I disagree with that a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I do think we should find happiness and peacefulness, but if I ignore everything, eventually it'll be in my backyard and I won't be able to ignore it. So I'd rather see it coming and be ready and try to defend myself than wait till it's in my front yard.
Right. And no, I totally get what you're saying too, because it's but that's what I did years ago, and I've been so much happier, but I don't really ignore everything. I just don't pay attention to it as much as I used to, because it's like, why am I I'm
Don't let it
aware,
affect you, right?
Still aware of it. I still know about it and what's going on, but instead of losing sleep and
right,
when I'm driving, thinking about it, when I'm on a job, thinking about it, when I'm anything, and then it's like, there's nothing I can do to change none of this shit. So I'm still aware of it, but it's like, stop wasting my time and focus on myself.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I do agree with that. It's like, pay attention to it, but don't let it affect your mental health or your
Right.
life. I get that. Don't worry all the time. I just say be ready for anything. Just be ready for anything, then you'll be happy. At least you're prepared for whatever, or as prepared as you can be for whatever could happen.
Exactly. Yeah. Still be aware of shit, but don't be so ignorant to where you just live in your own little world, and then something happens, and you're like, oh my gosh, what's going on?
I remember every time North Korea would say that they were going to nuke or they were going to get a nuke, I remember I used to get freaked out every time, and I'd be like, oh man, this is going to be it. This is going to be it. And forever I was saying that, and it's like 5 years later and they're still saying the same crap.
Just like the daylight savings, right? 5 years later, it'll be the last year for daylight savings.
Right. Yeah, Trump, I listened to him talk about that daylight savings thing, and he said that the country was absolutely like split down the middle on that, and that he was going to focus on other issues because that is like a non-winnable issue about getting rid of that time.
Bullshit. The country's not split down the middle on that bullshit.
I don't know.
And speaking of, I was doing research on that shit the other day, and I don't know. See, that's the other thing. How do I know what I'm researching is even fucking true, or if it's just what some other dude? That's what sucks too, right? That's why I don't waste my time on really like digging too. It's like I just hear, but anyway, I researched it, and it turns out it has nothing to do with farming and all that. Guess what? You might be a little shocked, but what it has to do with is capitalism and the government making more money. What? No way. Why would the government want to do that?
Did Christopher Columbus really find America or found America? Did he really?
He probably gave himself a blowjob, but other than that,
did we really sit down with the Indians and have a Thanksgiving turkey? Did we?
I'm sure they slaughtered his ass though.
What I think
happened, who is this fucking white boy coming up on our land? Take him out.
What I think happened when we got here is we brought all kinds of sicknesses that they had never built up immunities to, and we probably annihilated half of them just with our diseases and sicknesses. And then we probably forced them to teach us how to grow corn and all that stuff in terrible conditions, right? And then we traded away their land for next to nothing, right? But that's not what we were taught.
No, hell no. I mean, look what they did to Hawaii. They took over Hawaii and they made everyone believe that the Hawaiian people voted for it and wanted to become the 50th state.
And who spoke? Okay, so say these guys showed up on the shore full of Indians. Who even knew how to communicate with an Indian because they didn't speak your language?
Right. Yeah, think of that language barrier.
They probably held up a gun and said, yeah, and fired one off, and they were like, oh my God, what's that? It's a boomstick.
It's a boomstick.
You remember the movie The Evil Dead?
Yeah.
Load of my boomstick. But yeah, I mean, I imagine that's probably how it went. They got off the boat and fired off some shots or something. It's like, we come in peace. Psych. Yeah, because how would you communicate with them other than maybe hand gestures or something?
Yeah, it's not like you had an Android or an iPhone to use the translation thing. I come in peace. No, they're like, I come in peace, and they're like, boom.
It's possible they had some sort of interpreter somehow, but it's unlikely. It seems unlikely.
How? Unless someone could sneak up on the island and like study their language and figure out how they're talking and figure out what their words are, and all in secrecy, and then go back and be like, hey, Christopher Columbus, come here, man. All right, we'll figure this shit out, all right?
See, there it is right there. That's what I was thinking happened to him.
I'm sorry, he said 100 years, but over 90% of the native population died from diseases brought to the New World from
exactly.
Yes. And same, because he said 100 years, that reminded me too, that's the other thing I was researching about daylight savings, is daylight savings has only been around less than 100 years.
Daylight savings supposedly was for the kids not to be in the dark.
None of that. It's all for the government to make more money. Supposedly, allegedly, from what I read. I don't know what it's. I don't know, man. I'm just a dumb fucking plumber trying to fucking live my life without any harassment.
No, you're playing in poop, so at some point you're going to be harassed by number 2. You know.
Oh, I like the doo-doo.
But you get the green to play in the
doo-doo smell like money.
Right. You know what I loved about working in Detroit, man? They always paid me and their money was always green. And everyone was telling me, don't work in Detroit, man. Don't work in Detroit. I'm like, man, their money is green. They pay me. They offer me food. They loved me, man, when I was down there. Even if it was all black neighborhood, they loved me, man. They loved when a white boy was working for them, man.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Same for me, but me, I was forced to go because it was me and Nate when I first started plumbing 16. And it was me and Nate. And because I'm 16, Nate was 17, and they're like, and we had this piece of shit van, dude, that there was no floorboard on the passenger side. And of course, they're like, yeah, send them to the ghetto jobs, you know? So we had no choice. But one, I loved it because we learned on the hardest freaking jobs you could imagine. So we had like the hardest shit up front that we like hands on learning.
All
But then,
galvanized pipe, right? All
yep. Oh,
graphic.
yeah. So it was like, holy shit, man. But which was good because that's how you learn, right? The harder it is, if hands on, is the better you are off. But that, and like you were just saying, it's like, dude, they loved us, and especially a white dude shows up in the hood, and they're like, "Oh, I'm glad they sent you," and I'm like, "Well, you don't even know me. What does that mean?" You know, like, "Oh, you a white boy? Whatever you gonna do?" Like, what the fuck does that mean too? It's like, aren't you being kind of racist against other people? Oh Lord, I ain't ready.
Don't matter to me. That money, like I said, their money was green.
Don't
They
make
always paid me.
no, yeah, always paid, and it was always cash.
Yep, always green.
And thank God for me, man, that it didn't happen to me. But a guy I did work with, I'll just say his, we'll call him Bob, um, which wasn't his name, but he worked there. You know this person, and he had a brother. His brother's name was Steve. Okay, and he got sent to a job in the hood, and then the homeowner, the person living at the home, whatever, I don't know. And they were like, "Oh, they pull around to the alley side," because they were going to do a water heater. They're like, "Pull around to the alley side." So, and then the alley didn't go all the way through. You know, a lot of the alleys in Detroit goes all the way through to the next half block or whatever. It didn't go all the way through. It just in the middle, it just stopped. So he pulls in and gets the water heater out, and he had his brother Steve with him as a helper. And then they bring the water heater in. They're taking the old one out. They're downstairs, da da da. And then they go back out to the van, and they notice there's like a car parked behind them. And then somehow another car in front of them, and it's like, where did that car even come from? Because it doesn't go all the way through. How the fuck did they get there, you know? And then they go back and they finish the job and they get done. What did I say his name was? Bob. So then Bob gets all his paperwork and everything and goes, "All right, here's paperwork." And then the lady pays him. I think at the time it was like $1,200 or $1,100. Pays him cash, right? And then as soon as they both walked out the door, boom, the door just slammed behind them, and you hear all the locks going. And then they got closer to the van, and then there was another car by the van, and they were blocked in. And then dude just came up and almost unalived him. Almost. He's still here to this day, but, or I think, I haven't talked to him in 20 years, but he didn't get unalive. But the point is that thank God that never happened to me. And that's the only story I know of the hood of bad shit happening. Other than that, I love working in the hood too.
See, and that would have never happened to me in the first place because I would have never pulled up in no damn alley. I would have said, "No, man, I don't go in no alleys. I'm either out front or nothing." And I might have even drove away. If someone had asked me to go in the alley, I probably would have drove away from that job and let it go.
Yep.
There was a lot. I mean, you got to be smart. You have to have street smarts, man. You can't.
Well, no, and not only that, because like, and that's till this day. No matter where I go, I always back in, always back in. And it was like, why you always got to back in? I'm like, well, there's multiple reasons, but the main reason It's because if I ever have to get the fuck out of here really fast, I'm back then. All I got to do is start the car and put it in drive, and boom. But then there's also more reasons. It's easier to back in, and it's less. Yeah, there's, dude. Don't get me into the driving thing. Can't stand people that don't know how to
I
drive.
just get out of the car with the AK and be like, "Hey, man, can you move your car? I need to back my van out of this. You ain't gonna be hooking me up in no alley."
Right. Well, and the sad part is, Bob, they beat him to like, I know it's a pulp, but they beat him to like basically one pulse. He was down to one pulse. He was barely alive with his own pipe wrench. Could you imagine that, dude? Just
That's
like,
some serious
sweet.
hate right there.
Like, dude, I just made $1,200. Yeah. Oh, boom. And then you're about to be unalive with your own tools. Luckily, like I said, he made it. He was fucked up for 2 months, but
Why'd they have to beat him, man? Why didn't they just take the money, dude? I don't get. They
that's
must
what I mean, you
hate.
know. And the thing is, the lady that lived there, she was in on it.
Yeah.
I mean, she was definitely in on it. She's like, all right, what I'm gonna do is I gotta get my water heater replaced. So we're gonna call these fucking idiots, and then we're gonna have him do this, and then I'm gonna pay him cash. But then when he comes, and then just give me half my money back, and you guys keep the rest.
I did notice that about black people down in the hood too, is they do like to have a nice lawn, and they do like the old timers. They love taking care of their lawn and having like flowers and stuff and bushes. They're always out there. They take real good care of their cars too, like washing their rims and stuff. And they usually got big wrought iron gates around their house and stuff. You can always tell the dudes that you don't like. I worked with this guy named Tim when I worked for City of Westland, and he would tell me he lived down on Grand River or Grand Boulevard down in the hood. And he said, man, that all the 15-year-olds, 14, 15-year-olds were crazy. Like he didn't worry about the 20-year-olds and up. It was the young ones like 12 to 16 that didn't have a brain yet. So he always said, yeah, Mr. Price. They all knew about Mr. Price. He said they'd be yelling and hooting and hollering out there. And he went to Harry's Army Surplus and bought a bunch of those fake grenades. And he bought the vest that you hang the grenades on. And
Right.
he went out front when they were screwing around by his car. He put 6 grenades on them and went out with his AR and stood on the porch with the grenades. And he said they seen him, and man, they never mess with him again, and they won't even go near his property. They're like, man, Mr. Price got grenades, and his wife was in the door too, like probably with a gat, you know. But they don't mess with his flowers. They don't pick nothing. He's cool too. Little kids come down there, and he says, don't be picking my wife's flowers now, but if you want to learn how to grow your own, I'll give you a cup and the seeds. And I'll show you how, but don't pick mine.
See, and that's how it should be. And that's you know what that is Blue Unicorn still here? Blue, you still in chat? Or I know Neil will understand this too, but that's living anarchy. That is what was his name? Mr. Price, you said?
Yeah.
That's anarchy. He's just, people think anarchy, like, oh, everything's crazy and berserk. No, it's not. That dude is like, hey, look, this is how it's going to be. And he made a point, and then people were like, oh, okay. And then everything's good. That's how it should be.
He's just letting
like,
you know.
If you cross my line, you're going to pay a price. And I'm not going to call the cops. You're going to pay a price.
Don't. No, he told me straight up, none of those people down there call the cops. If the cops come, they don't tell them squat. They don't tell on each other. Handle their own business.
Because they're smart.
Cops just mess it all up anyway, and half the time the wrong people go to jail. So,
like I was saying earlier, the cops are allowed to lie, but you are not. So, yeah, always plead the fifth. Don't tell the cops anything.
And we are at 3 hours, and it is 2 a.m. It is 2
Oh
a.m.
shit, 3 hours already. Damn. All right. Well, I'm gonna tell one more story because you reminded me about that, because
Go ahead.
this is the one story in the hood I'll never forget. And I'm pretty sure I told this before, but I'm gonna tell it again. Is we went to this house it was East Detroit, but it was like between 6 and 7 Mile. I can't remember the other road, but it was it was like way up by that mall, whatever mall that is. And it was a single story home and just regular old house in Detroit, small house. And it was like tilted because it was falling over, and it was just like the roof was like half caved in, and it's like, holy shit, someone lives here. But there was a brand new Escalade in the driveway, and this was 30 years ago, 27, 28 years ago. And the Escalade had fat rims on it, dude. The rims alone were probably at the time worth $10,000, and the Escalade itself was probably worth $50,000 at the time, which now would be well over $100,000. But so we're pulling home like, dude, someone actually lives in this house. What the hell? And then dude comes out and he's like, hey man, you probably wonder why I got such a nice ride but a piece of shit house. And I was like, yeah, that's actually what I was exactly thinking. Like, what? And he goes, because you could sleep in your car, but you can't drive your house. And I don't know. That just always stuck with me. And I was like, all right, more power to you, dude. But dude had a really nice ride. And I guess technically he still had a house, but it was a piece of shit house and it leaked. And the plumbing barely worked, but you know. That's true too, James. If people were good at heart, then anarchy might work. Most people are not good by nature. Unfortunately, you are correct. And again, that goes back to what I was saying earlier. That's where my life got better, when I was like, why am I going to waste all this time on trying to change something I can't change? I'm just aware of it. It's okay to be aware of it. Everyone should be aware of things, but don't, like Todd Bushy said, man, focus on yourself, man. And that goes with anything, because you can't be happy with a job, with how you're making money. You can't be happy in a relationship. You can't be happy with a friendship. You can't be happy with anything unless you're happy with yourself. You have to be good with you, like within you. You have to be good within you in order for anything else to work. And that's just my personal opinion, but I really believe in that. And so yeah, be good with you. Be good with you first.
The new guy, Hegseth, was that his name? Hegseth, like I forget what position Trump gave him.
Oh, I haven't even heard yet.
I forget. He's in charge of like defense, though. I think he got a new tattoo under his bicep. I was just reading, and it's in Arabic, and it means infidel or non-believer. So the Muslims are all mad at him.
Oh shit!
Oh man, you can't make this stuff up.
I know, right? Shoot, right on, Todd Bushy. Hey, Todd Bushy, man, it's always good to see you, dude. And thank you for hanging out tonight.
Here, look at that.
And real quick too, for James, much love to you, brother, man. You know I love you, dude. I've never had a brother, so you've always been my only brother, man. And I love you, dude.
Yeah, Secretary of Defense. See that tattoo up under his arm?
That's the Secretary of Defense?
Yeah. You know where that is? He was visiting soldiers in Hawaii.
Really?
Yeah, working out with the soldiers in Hawaii. He's in pretty good shape.
Wow.
But he got his new tattoo means non-believer or infidel.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, what happened? Dave left again. Damn it, David. David, what did you do, David? Oh, I know what he did. He went to take the share screen down, but he took himself down. Like that. Oh, like that.
Whatever.
Walla, bro. Swear to God on my mother's eyes.
I just shut off my whole StreamYard.
I know. That's what I was like. I know what he did because I've done that
Yeah,
before.
just hit the button.
But James, hold on, because we're gonna end it right now. But hold on, because I want you to hear this song if you guys weren't here in the beginning, because I'm gonna end it the same way I started it because I love Mom, and I can't even tell you how many. Dude, my whole day yesterday, I was like running, literally bumping into walls, going, "What the fuck am I doing?" It hit me a lot harder than I was expecting it to, and I can't even tell you how many times I cried, man. It's just, but Mom will always be a part of me, and I'll never forget her. So, but I want to close it out, and I want James to stick around to hear it because I did the song this morning. But before I do that, anything to close out with, Dave?
No, I just asked if you guys keep us in prayer over the next couple days, man, because we're acting tough and all that, but it's gonna be rough on Saturday. And yeah, we've already made peace, but it's still gonna be rough. I don't really want to do it. I don't want to look at the casket and all that crap. I'm not looking forward to any of it. So, I especially miss her. I miss her a lot, man. I miss her when I order food and if I hear a bell ring or I thought I heard her calling me the other day from the living room. So, just weird. This back room's all trash because it was like a hospital place. And so like now anyway, my kids did something cool for me. I'll show you. My kid, Josh. Can you see the corner back there?
Yep.
He
Oh,
made
okay. Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
so that's where the bed was. Let me make sure I'm not
No, I was
showing
gonna. That's the
nothing
first thing I
crazy. Hold on.
noticed. The first thing I noticed that the bed's not there anymore.
Oh, my brother. Anyway, make sure none of my drugs or papers are here. Anyway, so that in the back there, when I came home from shopping, Josh made me that planner, and inside is called a lily, a peace lily, and it's a plant. And when I showed up, he made me that today out of wood. He's a carpenter. Put the plant in there and a cardinal, which was my mom and my grandmother's thing. So
I
and next,
remember Grandma too. Wow. Yeah.
and next to it is one of the boards for mom's pictures. But yeah, so like they knew I couldn't stand. I was having a hard time looking at the corner, so I got home and he had made that and put that there.
Yeah, that is
Well,
awesome,
feels
man.
feels better, you know what I mean? Feels better back here. But I changed the light bulbs. The light bulbs were yellow, and it was like I don't know, it's just messing with my head. So I changed the light bulbs to like daylight bulbs and tried to change as much as I could back here because it's just weird. It just feels weird every time I come back here. It feels a little weird, but I'll get over it.
Right. Well, no, it is too. I mean, it's one of those things where you just get so that's what you're used to, and then all of a sudden it's just like what?
Well,
That's
even
it.
listening to the breathing machine, like the condensator from our oxygen, it had like this, and I'm not hearing it, and it's weird.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's it's. I can't think of the word. You were in a routine for a long time. That's what I was like looking for, a routine.
Yeah, when I come back here, it's kind of like I don't know what to do now.
Right, because yeah, that routine's been broken. So it's like, wait a minute, something ain't right because this is, you know,
It's kind of why I came on the show tonight. I was just sitting there like, I was gonna start cleaning this up, and I'm just like, nah, I'm gonna pop on here.
and I'm glad you did, man. That's why I wasn't expecting you to at all, and I was 100,000% fine with that. But I'm so glad that you did, man.
Hey, Blue, I'm glad you showed up tonight. Thanks for all the kindness, by the way. Hey, what's up, Auditor?
Hey Terry, what's up, brother? Terry, if you rewind, I don't. Oh shit, we're over three. That's right, 3 hours. But about an hour ago, I was going over a James Freeman video, which was really good, and I'm sure you already seen it, but just great video. And then Oahu Rooter, I don't know if he's still in chat, but I get a hold of you, man, because I am Blue Unicorn, because I would like to have you guys on the panel and have that debate. Oh, is that the one that done? Nah, dude, I've never heard of that. That's crazy.
Dunkin' Donuts Boston Cream
Native.
Body Wash, baby. Made by Native.
That is funny as hell.
It smells like a fargan donut.
I want to try it now.
It smells awesome. It smells like the cream and the chocolate. And it smells like the donut just got cooked.
Dude, I want to try it now. I want to see.
I'm gonna be gnawing on my own arms and stuff, dude.
Dude, knowing me, I'll just get bit by more mosquitoes, man, because mosquitoes love me.
They all smelled like crap except for this one. Yeah. So we appreciate your prayers. I appreciate all your kindness. I got so many private messages that I won't share, but from people I didn't expect, from old friends, if you're listening or lurking, old friends from the neighborhood that grew up on the block where me and my brother were, that I hadn't spoken to in 30 years, reaching out. Just all kinds of people, man, and telling me stories about my mom. I've read about 5 stories now about how as soon as they met my mom, within a week they were calling her mom, and that she gave them muffins and cookies and just treated them like family. So I guess my final thought is just stay close to God, man. You never know when your last day is going to come, and be kind to people that, like I normally don't tell things that I did, but there was a homeless person today. I had a pizza. She was at the corner. I had a hot pizza in the car. I was going to bring it to my brother, but something changed. And then she was sitting on the corner, like, help me. I lost everything and I'm mowing this pizza. So I just rolled down the window with some napkins and cut a piece of pizza. And she's like, oh, thank you. It's still hot. So anyway, my point is just be kind to people, man. You never know what people are going through. I thought I'm like, oh, poor me. And then I found out that half the internet has lost someone or is in process of losing someone, and that we're all in the same boat, man. It's not all, and remember that when people are sick or dying, it ain't all about us. We need to make it about those people. So that's all.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And that's like I always say, at the end of the day, man, we have more in common than we don't. So stop focusing on the shit we don't have in common, and always be kind to others, because you never know what they're going through. Because we've all had those days where we're going through something and we maybe snapped or lost it a little bit, and then other people would react. But imagine if they would have reacted in a way like, oh, hey, I don't know what you're going through. My bad. I didn't really, then you would have probably been like, yeah, why did I even snap? But when they react the way that you're acting, then it's just stupid, man. It's
I think
unnecessary.
I think the majority of people, if given a chance to talk to each other and figure out like what was going on with each of them, and they most time would apologize and say, I'm sorry, man, this just got to me and I wasn't driving, I wasn't paying attention or whatever. Like if you had the chance to talk to somebody, unless you're in Dearborn and they're just all idiots. I'm just kidding. But
Marhaba Habibi. Marhaba.
30% are idiots. But I forgive them. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely have to. Lisa Anderson, aloha. William Kramer was good, but all right, we're gonna go ahead and close this out. And I think I said my final thoughts at the same time while Dave we were talking, but yeah. But as always, and you know what, I do want to say this, man. I know I've already said it, but it really, when you lose someone, everyone deals with it different. And when you think you're like, all right, I already know what's going to happen. I already know the outcome. I'm prepared. You're not. I wasn't anyway. So it hit me pretty hard, man. But anyway, I love you, Mom. And rest in peace.
She had a voice like thunder, a heart so wide, a love so fierce it could never hide, a look that told you what was right and wrong. Now the world feels quiet since she's gone. She was the rock that held us in the storm, the arms that kept us safe and warm, a mom to you and a mom to me. Her light lives on in all we see. Her laughter echoed through the hall so loud, a queen who stood tall and never bowed. Her rules were tough, but her heart was kind, a better soul you'll never find. She was the rock that held us in the storm, the arms that kept us safe and warm, a mom to you and a mom to me. Her light lives on in all we see. We'll carry on like you'd want us to, with courage strong and love so true. You built us up, you made us see what it means to be family. Though she's not here, her love remains in our laughter and our growing pains, a legacy of grace and might. Her spirit dances in the night. Though she's not here, her love remains in our laughter and our growing pains, a legacy of grace and might. Her spirit dances in the night.